Who's ready to ride? My shooters got shooters. Once you're in the sight, our aim is the truest. You know I got soul and you know he a fighter. Call him the podcast piper, the smoothest of snipers. Red Dead Panda from the shadows, with a point of precision. The glue of the crew, an assassin with missions. And Nero the line, front line in the block. The shotgun of the truth, the podcast rock. Aim down sight, we don't miss. Aim down sight, we don't miss. Tune in on your Saturday night. You can't miss, you won't miss. If you aim down sight. Aim down sight. Oh, aim down sight, yeah. Go. Aim down sight, we don't miss. Aim down sight, we don't miss.
Google's doing an X-Files reboot. Interesting. Interesting.
Interesting. All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 57 of ADS. We have a fantastic show for you this week. Obviously, we're going to be talking about everything that's happened this week, the good, the bad, the ugly. But we have NextGenNero, my co-host. He is off cam because he's not feeling 100%. So, be nice. He's going to still be his next-gen villain self, as per usual. But yeah, then we also have the fantastic BitCloud Gaming joining us this week. So thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you being here. Yeah, we're going to do a couple of intros, see what everyone's been playing this week, and then we're going to crack into our quick news and then into our main topics. So before we do that, I just want to say a quick shout out to everyone who's watching live, whether you're watching it on YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Thank you, everybody. Fuck you. All right. Hope you feel better soon, Nero. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Really appreciate it.
All right. I've just lost my train of thought by reading Fuck You's thing. You're just a disruptor, Fuck You. Just a disruptor. All right. Well, I'm going to start off with our guest. BitCloud, what have you been up to this week? What have you been playing or watching or just, how are you?
Well, first, thanks for having me. That's number one. Number two, that's the thing, though. I've kind of been away for a couple of days in the real world, but in terms of the gaming side, right now, get ready to get this platinum for Liza P, so I can jump on that Death Stranding too. So that's what I've been doing, pretty much gaming. But
Got to finish one game to start the next game. Fair
well,
enough.
it just I don't know. I've kind of put myself in that mindset now because I used to be able to go to game, but I was like, nah. You typically lose appreciation when you start doing that. So you really give it your full undivided attention. You see even more in it, and that's just how I've been. But yeah, pretty much.
Lies of P so good, man. I finished it recently.
Ah, dude, I'm at the fighting the nameless puppet right now.
Ah, man. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Great fight. Tough fight.
Yeah, no, like a lot of it's kind of gives you Sekiro vibes, like a rhythm type of thing
Yep.
towards it. So you kind of like got to put yourself in that mindset, especially when it comes to parrying. But it's good. I really like it.
All right. Are you excited to start Death Stranding 2, right? That's 2
Oh yeah,
you're playing? Yeah.
love the first game. Platinumed it twice.
Damn, well done.
Yeah, good
Such a
game.
good game.
Funny thing is too, I'm good friends with director Hardman, so that's the other cool
Oh,
positive thing that came in the mix of this too. So that's awesome. So I'm very excited to see what they do with the game. I was hoping I would have free time to finish Liza P in time for Death Stranding 2, but I didn't. I just didn't. You know how life throws curveballs at you, so that
Yeah.
cut into a lot of the playtime. But
Yes,
life of a
that's
gamer.
been me recently. That's been me recently. I haven't
Oh
gamed
yeah.
as much as I wanted to. All right. Thank you for sharing. Nero, the biggest grifter in town. No, I'm
Uh-oh.
kidding.
no.
Uh-oh.
What have you been playing? What have you been up to?
I've been playing a bit of Death Stranding 2. I can see it becoming my game of the year by the time I roll credits. I think I'm only on chapter about 6. I've been doing this is I didn't do a lot of the side deliveries in the first game. I kind of just focused on the main story. But I've been attached to almost everybody at every facility so far this game. So I've been wanting to do things for them and help them out. I recently fell in love with Lords of the Fallen. Been playing that on the PS5 Pro. The seamless co-op, is extremely fun. That's the one thing I don't like about Soul games, especially from soft games. It's always a loop getting to the multiplayer aspect side of them games. Got to go through a certain thing versus just simply sending a friend an invite. So I've been playing a bit of that. Just been playing a lot of things, man. I finished Rise of Ronin. Did a little review for that on the channel if you guys want to check it out. Um, I think it's I think that was a very good game, despite the PS3 era graphics, which kind of brought a little nostalgia to me. That combat is some of the best combat I've played this generation, and I shouldn't be
Do you think it's
surprised if
definitely
Steam mentioned that.
improved over the version that you initially played? Because obviously it's had some updates.
I think
Since
so. It
launch.
it did seem a bit better. One thing that kind of pissed me off this gen when I see it is pop in. in video games, especially like egregious pop in. Sonic Frontiers had it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth had it, and Rise of Ronin had it. I just feel like that's one of them things I didn't want to see this gen. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, man, I just been jumping around trying to complete this backlog, man. So I'm really excited for college football 26 on Monday. I pre-ordered it, so I get a couple days early.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
gonna be streaming that on my personal channel. So if you guys interested in Coach Nero out here, turning some of these low ranked schools around, hey, man.
Mm.
What have you
Yeah.
been up to, Pandy?
I honestly, right now, it's going to be like this for the next few weeks anyway. I am busy like doing a training at work. So it's like 5.5, 6 weeks of like full on training. And by the end of the day, I'm exhausted. So I don't actually gain that much at this time. I spend a lot of time like maybe watching shows or something. So the only thing I have been playing this week with my twin is Diablo 4, the new season that just came out. I'm waiting for the full release of Path of Exile 2 before I jump back in. I've enjoyed what I played of Path of Exile 2, but I really want the full release out before I actually go back into it. But D4 is just easy to quickly jump in and out. I still think D3 is a better game around the gameplay loop, keeping you engaged and more fun. And they're definitely seeing some quality of life improvements coming across from D3. There's still plenty of room for improvement. But yeah, that's all I've really been playing. I haven't been playing anything else this week, which is kind of
Question:
sad. Yeah.
what is the theme of this season?
It's this type of like a spell type thing. You get like a spell and
Okay.
yeah, everyone gets the spell type thing. But my sister hasn't played the story of the Vessel of Hatred, so we actually haven't really been doing any of the season. We've just been doing the Vessel of Hatred story. She hasn't played it yet, so we'll get fully into the season once we finish the story. And I think hopefully this evening we'll finish it, and then I can fully jump in and immerse myself in the season. But yeah, that's all I've been doing, which is kind of sad because there's so many games that I want to be playing, like Oblivion and those sort of things. But I mean, you don't really have to focus much on Diablo, yeah. But next week's a different story because we're taking a week off from podcasting, but we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But I'm excited for next week. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's crack into some quick topics or quick news. Nero, what have we got?
All right.
I
Before we
moved
do,
one of
just
them around because I feel like it's a bigger
yeah,
topic.
yeah, you kind of did a really good job at reorganizing because when I put the topics in, I kind of just put them as they come across, my phone or timeline or whatever news I see. And also, guys, thank you for the 103 people rocking out with us live so far. Great amount of people in here. We ain't even 20 minutes into the show, so
Yeah.
we definitely appreciate the support. And like I said, we definitely appreciate you, BitCloud Gaming, pulling up. And it's funny because I thought he was coming last week. I misread Panda, and I
Yeah,
totally
saw on my phone. I was
misspelled
like,
his name, man. Like I misspelled his name and couldn't find his at. I was like, yo, what the fuck is Cloud Bit Gaming at? But it's Bit Cloud Gaming, right?
I was like, what the hell's
So,
called? But I'm like,
yeah,
Red,
right.
This is why I put the post out.
That's why Panda is over everything. Don't smoke weed, kids.
Hey. And Yo be in my DM was like, yo, Bit, I fixed it. I'm like, okay. Some chill.
But yeah, so appreciate everybody rocking with us. Please hit that like button. But this first quick news, man, it's kind of funny to me. Mind's Eye will be relaunched as the CEO blames people sabotaging the game internally.
I mean, they sabotaged the game.
Yeah, that's
You
exactly
sabotaged by dropping it unoptimized.
Yeah, I was going to say, optimization was your biggest sabotage.
Yep. And mind you, they don't have the recognition of CD Projekt Red, so they can't survive a cyberpunk ordeal. No.
definitely.
The fact that that, like, if you're just blaming everyone else for your problems,
Yeah.
it's a you problem at the end of the day because no one else agrees with you.
Oh, yeah.
No one. Oh, that makes me laugh. Sorry, I just couldn't help myself.
Loki wants to blame the gamers, but he knows that'll be a death sentence to the game too. Like, the people didn't buy it. Like, no.
I mean, just shows a lack of self-awareness and just acknowledgement to take it on the chin and just go, okay, we didn't deliver what we should have delivered,
Oh yeah,
and so we now need to go back and re-earn your trust.
we saw that with the
And
Borderlands 4
yeah,
dev. Remember, he's like, "Oh, the real fans will find a way to pay $80 for the game," and everybody's like, "Huh? Excuse me?
excuse me,
Like, what do you mean by
you
that?
telling me how to spend my money?
No, what do you mean by that?"
Yeah, it was
No.
really out of touch. 100%.
Oh,
I
yeah.
will say, if this week have showed me anything, it's that CEOs, CFOs, CCOs, whatever the hell we want to label them, are so out of touch. So out of touch.
Oh, yeah.
Extremely out of touch. Embarrassing.
Yeah, man.
So I personally do kind of, I mean, because the people that I know that played it said it wasn't the worst thing ever,
It
which
had a
I
good
take that with a
story,
grain of
right?
salt. Yeah, I mean, I guess it had a good story and good cutscenes. So it's definitely going to be a Black Friday pickup for me. Maybe grab 20, 30 bucks. I mean, not 20, maybe 10, 15. 20 is my roof. You know what I'm saying? But maybe it can have one of those comebacks. I kind of agree with a bit here. They don't got that CD Project Red notoriety to have that
Yeah.
same type of
Yeah.
comeback. And I do root for comebacks in gaming. Like I mentioned at the start of the show, I've been playing Lords of the Fallen. I highly recommend that. That game is in a really good spot compared to how it launched. So
Mm.
I root for games to come back. I don't want to see anything fail.
Nah,
Deep
Uh,
down,
I was
for
like that for
com-
Cyberpunk. I had a day
this
one. It was given to me for free by CD Projekt Red, and couldn't make it work. So I took a long hiatus for it, and the DLC was with. I was like, damn, okay, and it was
Yeah.
literally night and day. Like the game was amazing. Transitions, the creativity. I love seeing stuff like that.
Yes, I just hope that when they relaunch it, they make it cheaper. Because I feel like most of us gamers who actually know what's going on are really kind of scrutinizing games and choosing where we want to spend our money day one.
Yeah,
And so you really have to hit the nail on the head. And to be complaining, like we just had one of the best games at this generation launched this year at like $40 or
yep.
$50, sorry. Expedition 33, fantastic game, $50. They didn't have the optimization issues. They didn't do this. They came out, they delivered.
Hmm.
And so people supported that. Also,
See, some people would dispute that and say that, oh, well, just make good games and that will sell it. No, it's all about value. If you have the value there, it will sell itself. You don't have to do much advertising for it at all. If you look at Expedition 33 in terms of advertisement, wasn't a whole lot of crazy advertising for Expedition 33, and yet it became one of the biggest sellers of this year.
word
So
of
that's
mouth,
tell you.
hey?
Oh yeah, and when you add higher price tags to anything, you add a bigger magnifying glass to the consumer. They'll look at what they're getting for X amount of money. So this generation, we've been talking about more than anything about price hikes. At the start of this gen, we went from 60 to 70. Now we're going to 70 to 80. That's a big increase in money
and
you're
one gen.
asking. Yeah,
Yeah.
and keep in
Yeah.
mind when you look at a lot of these games, you can look. It doesn't even take rocket science to look at a lot of these games and really determine that a lot of these games are not even worth 70.
100%.
100%.
They're not even. They're not. And so
Not even worth 60.
What have you done
Exactly.
to me today? What have you done for me today to show me that I'm going to spend my money on this game? And they don't. They
We
don't show
still got to
you.
pay. We still got
They
to pay for
expect you to.
DLC. Right. You still got DLC that's being paid for separate. You have money hatting schemes. They try to get more money out of you to pay more. It's like people get tired of it, and we haven't even factored in the cost of living today and how the world has changed now. These are other things. So a lot of people, I laugh at people who try to demonize something like Game Pass or something. Like it's like, dude, it's an option. It's a cheaper alternative to the game. That's all it is. It's not a replacement. But
No.
this is what the internet has gotten us into, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Couldn't
I
agree
think
more.
I also agree with what Fark you said around the $50 price point, because when you convert that to New Zealand dollars, that is a reasonable price point. Even the $60 price point is a reasonable price point when you convert it to other countries. Like when you start putting it into other prices and you take into account other countries around their average wage that they earn per month and those sort of things, you start pricing them out of their ability to purchase your products, and then you're like, why has our game not sold this many this many
Exactly.
like it doesn't have the sales that match what you think it's going to do. Square Enix obviously has high expectations on where they're going to sell or how many copies they're going to sell, and then they don't hit that target. And part of that, and that's for every game that's pricing things at a ridiculous cost point. We're looking at this going, do I spend for me 140 New Zealand dollars on that, or do I go out and do something else with that money instead? And that's the thing. It's like gaming is a luxury, but you're a business at the end of the day, and you want people to buy the games. So stop pricing people out of the market, because that's what you're doing. You're basically telling gamers that we want you to buy it, but we're going to make it unaffordable, unattainable for you to purchase the games day one. So you have to look at a sale, and then they're like, why don't their copies or sales match what it did 3 years ago or whatever? And it's like,
Yeah,
because people
just
can't
just
afford
factor
that
in the
shit.
price per dollar back then. Like PS2 generation games were $50. You were guaranteed to at least get 2 games for $100 back then.
Yep.
Now you're, especially if you have a budget with $100, like you don't want to spend over 100. Now you have to pick and choose between, let's say, one of the 3 top games this year
Yep.
or this month or whatever the case may be. You have to choose between that, and people wonder why. Okay, well, that doesn't make why aren't they buying them in just in a third? Because people are not going to overextend to try and get something. They will most certainly wait for sales. This is why you see sales. Well, now you. Funny thing is, I didn't think Sony would do this, but you guys know that days of play sale thing. They actually extended
Yeah.
that days of play sale. That was the first time they ever extended it in a
They
long time.
extended it?
Like they were. It's still going on for longer than I thought it would be.
I
Usually, it'd be
didn't
like
get
a month.
as many sales as I thought they were going to get.
Yeah, because you gotta understand, Sony's trying to sell you a $700 console on top of this. That's another big hefty investment, and people are trying to hype up, features that should have already been here day one with this console, but they're claiming that it's coming next year.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you basically been hustled into paying $700 now for something that's not even fully optimized and ready for next year.
And then you got next gen right around the corner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
It just
Which might
feels
be
like
the first gen I don't feel inclined to jump right into, especially with FSR4 coming to PSSR next year. I don't know, man. I feel like this generation for me is going to be extended because of COVID. A bunch of games I looked forward to just constantly getting delayed, pushed back. But I say that, but my name NextGenNero for a reason.
No, I
I'll
agree.
probably-
But I don't even think that's the case too, though. It being extended, I just think it's going to be more what we got with this generation. Remember how, like we still
yeah.
had PS4 cross gen. It's just going to be PS5 cross gen to PS6. That's going to be that sort of thing, and they're going to try to filter out PS4 users by slowly cutting things down over there.
Yeah.
To get them to shift over to either PS5 or PlayStation 6, and that's how they're gonna go about it. And when you have the way things have been going, which is the system and the way they've been handling everything with money hat and schemes, people are restless, man. People are tired of this. They want the games, and they're giving you mixed messaging. I think Mark certainly said that PS5 is still a top priority, but yet beforehand, the guy above him who oversees the company with Hiroki Totoki said that PS6 is their top priority. So who am I inclined to believe, an architect or the guy who's running the company?
guys running the company.
Yeah.
So
They're steering the ship.
yeah, they're steering the ship, all right. And people don't like certain things, but I warn people ahead of time. Like, listen, this is the era where the suits are running PlayStation, not the quote unquote gamer-esque CEOs that we had prior. Back then we had Cass, we had Sean Layden, we had Jack Tritton and Andrew House. All 4 of these guys, Gio Corsi also, that's all 5 of these guys had one thing in common. They were gamers first, CEO second. That's why a lot of the decisions they made were very, hectic. You notice how back in the PS3 gens, it felt like they were throwing stuff at dartboard with games, but it was a lot of variety. That's just them pushing and throwing games at the gamer they knew they thought would sell. Now you're at the point where you have suits that just monopolize everything. Hence why you have Last of Us recycled 7 times.
Yes.
TV
Yeah.
shows that no one asked for.
No one asked for. Goddamn Twisted Metal.
Mm,
That's where you're
A
at.
show before the game.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
We've got lots of things no one's asking for in video games. Wherever you look in the industry, there are so many things no one is asking for it, but they're like, how can we monetize this? How can we separate a gamer from their hard-earned dollar? And I feel like they forget that it's our
yep.
hard-earned dollar, and we want to choose where we want to purchase it. Yeah. I mean, the game is very different. Like, we're all very different gamers to the gamers that are the younger generation coming through now, because they're experiencing what the state of gaming is now, not necessarily what it used to be. And so this is all that they know. And so it doesn't seem like anything. And that's how they're moving that needle closer and closer. And yeah, it changes. All right. Well, what else do we have? Where are we
We
next?
got FPS Delta Force announced for Series XS and PS5 consoles coming August 19th. It is a free to play game, but they do have a $10 pre order thing where you just, get some in game things. I think enough for the first battle pass and things like that.
Who's
I'm
doing
itching
the
for it.
FPS Delta Force game, actually? I can't remember. Why? The name's sitting there, but I just can't think of it.
I will say I am thirsty for a new shooter. That's why I'm excited for the new Battlefield game. Uh, Splitgate 2 cool. You know, I appreciate it for what it is, but it's just not hitting the way I want it to hit longevity
Why
wise.
is that?
I played it.
Just not engaging enough?
No, it's just it's engaging. It's like it's nothing wrong with the game. It's a me thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really thirsting for a Halo, and I'm really thirsting for a Battlefield. That I'm thirsting for a specific type of shooter,
Type of
You want that
yes,
Call of Duty vibe, but not the Call
but
of
not
Duty
Call of Duty.
SG.
but
Yeah,
not
Right,
Call
right,
of
right,
Duty.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so
I'm wanting
anti-COD.
Halo as well. I'm definitely wanting some Halo, because I'm so disappointed that I just can't get anyone on servers over in Australia and New Zealand, and so I just can't play unless we aim to do like a community game night or customs or something. Yeah, you just don't have that option, which is kind of sad, because it's such a fun and such a really good multiplayer. Like the gunplay is so good. It's so good. What have we got? Insider
Yeah,
Gaming.
yep. So inside the gaming, pretty much said the next. This is a rumor. Rumored next mainline Ghost Recon game is expected to launch fall 2026. Take that with a grain of salt, as with all rumors. But as a Ghost Recon fan, I'm kind of more of a fan of the older games, the more linear, campaign focused games. I kind of played with my uncle and stuff growing up, but I like Ghost Recon as an IP, as a franchise. So I'm definitely intrigued by this.
Did you play Wildlands?
Yeah, I played both of the recent ones.
Oh, you did. You did.
Wildlands, and what was the other one? Which one came first? Wildlands came before the latest one, right?
Yeah. I can't think of the most recent one because my
I
brain's
wish
just
Wildlands would get a
current patch.
current patch. Yeah,
Yeah,
even
unless it's
Division
making
2,
money,
man.
they ain't doing it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's weird Division 2 don't have a dedicated next gen patch. I mean, it looked good as it is. Don't get me wrong, but I would like for it to take full advantage of everything in our systems.
As long as I get a Division 3 and they just make what I loved about Division 1 and what I loved about Division 2 and like put it into like what I would like Division 3 to be, I will be happy. But who knows? There's so many games being cancelled. Like you never know. You can put your hopes into a game and then bam, it just gets taken away from you. And I'm like, no. So hard to be excited about gaming or future games at the moment without knowing if they're going to release or not.
Definitely. This is news that I personally grin about. I love my sports, whether it's college football, college basketball. I'm not a huge like NBA fan. I am a Knicks fan, but EA Sports has officially announced college basketball teaser,
It's
and
great, but I have no faith in EA.
yeah, I feel you, man.
They
I feel
ruined UFC. They ruined UFC. I'm
They
sorry.
ruined BioWare.
Ugh. They ruined
no
what
Dead
was it?
Space
Dead
2 remake.
Space.
Yep,
Uh,
They ruined my Dead Space. So because they got rid of visceral games.
Then it's hard to get them flowers with the improvements they made to college football and Madden this year for me personally, just because I know it's kind of like a contract year for them with
Yep.
renewing that. So it's like, yeah, it's a whole bunch of things I'm personally excited for. And I honestly think this is going to be the best Madden. in 10 years. But I mean, this is the first time in 10 years they are at risk to lose the rights to it. So I mean, can only give them so much credit. But I'm a Duke fan, so I look forward to getting out there with my Duke boys and playing around. Hopefully they treat this right, man.
Yeah, it's
Hope
missed
and
when
I hope they
THQ
pay
gave
these
them
players too.
competition. Like back
Yeah,
then, like that's when we was the golden age of playing football games. When we had THQ doing NCAA
yep.
football games for
I
us.
miss THQ, actually. I really do.
Competition is
They did
important.
some great stuff.
Oh yeah,
They did.
they
Wasn't
gave
they
us
the
the best
original Saints
UFC
Row people?
games. Yeah,
Yep.
Was THQ the original publisher of that Kingdoms of Element, whatever the fuck that game was?
Deliverance. No, not Deliverance.
Kingdom of something. Oh, don't worry. But I feel like that was THQ as well. They were great, and now they're just gone. Like, so many great publishers and so many great developers have just gone that were here 10 years ago. And the industry's so fickle. The industry is so fickle.
Yep. Also, we got Elden Ring Tarnished Edition has been rated for the Switch 2. That's pretty dope.
How many Joy-Con controllers do you think or Switch 2s are going to be broken when this game goes out?
A lot.
Stick drift is going to be massive if you're playing that on there. You need a pro controller to play that game on a Switch.
BitCloud, do you have a Switch 2?
No.
I only
That is
asked.
the right answer, BitCloud. That is the right answer.
Nintendo had me back in the day. Don't get me wrong. Like when I think you know what's funny. I think that's all of our origins, right? We all kind of started off in Nintendo.
I started on Nintendo,
but we moved. But then as we grew up, as we became adults, Nintendo didn't grow with us, and we just parted ways.
Yep.
Right. I will say this. I like certain. Right. No.
Sorry, go ahead, brother.
I like certain things they've done. That's definitely improvements. I think that's safe to say. We all can agree. It's some quality of life improvements to the unit.
Yeah.
When it comes to the software, when it comes to the basics in terms of improving what you would expect from a next gen, it ain't there. It ain't that. The cross game chat, which they were so proud of, was horrible. I don't know why anybody would use that or stream their games at 3 frames to one another. I don't see that being a thing.
They're charging for it next year.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
That's a big go fuck yourself, Nintendo. Sorry,
absolutely. Because wasn't they already charge you online anyway? It was like $10.
Yeah,
was like $10. So I can see it going up to 10 or going up another $10, $20. I don't know, whatever they want. And the thing is, Nintendo can get away with it because Nintendo's fan base has literally conditioned themselves to accept the bare minimum. Like you can ask them to
100%.
be on par, not even copy like a PlayStation or Xbox in regards to have like achievements. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. They'll damage control say they don't need it. We went this far without it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, you went that far without cross game chat, and yet here we are. You guys are hyping up cross game chat.
But they're like they charge for that welcome to a video game to introduce you to the Switch 2. But you can't even finish it unless you own the peripherals that they wanted you to purchase.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's really scummy. Like
that's Nintendo being Nintendo.
That's Nintendo to a T.
Like that's literally like everything scummy, anti-consumer, that's the proper word people like to use, all that stuff. I expect Nintendo to do every single thing that checks that list. And the funny thing is, we can call this out for you like every day, but you're always gonna have a grown ass, individual defend it and say like,
"Please, sir, can I have some more?"
It's literally what it is. That's literally what it is. They'll literally say, "Oh, it's a non-issue. Y'all looking at this like that and the third." I'm like, how do you sleep at night? That's my reaction every time when I read comments like, how do you sleep at night? Like, how can you sit there with a straight face as an adult and tell me that this is proper? Because you got to pay $100, right? I think it was like $100 to get the complete full experience of Zelda that's already out on the Switch 1 or something like that, or was it $90 something like that?
It's $80.
$80.
Yes. But if you purchased it originally, I think you can pay for like a $10 upgrade. I'm like, why are you charging an upgrade? I already own this thing. Like, why can't I just take advantage of the hardware that I already now purchased? And I just want to put a new game in here. I mean, a game that I already own in here, and you're holding me back on the hardware.
I love the conversation though. They said that the reason why Nintendo did all this is to combat piracy or to combat the system being hackable. Now we're all of you should all this in the chat, and I know you both knew this is bullshit at the gate. That this has nothing to do with no piracy or
Yep.
combating anything in regards to the console being hacked. Because let's face it, everything gets hacked. There's no way around a fire like of getting hacked, especially when it's a closed console. This is a closed console. It's going to easily be hacked. If it ain't going to get hacked within a week, it's going to get hacked within the first year. It literally was hacked between 2 days. People
Yeah.
are already showing off hacks and getting into the stores. I'm just like,
And they're just bricking those consoles. And I'm like, but they purchased the hardware. Like, you can't even, like, if it's the profile, they're actually just bricking the console. You'd have to buy a new console
all
because
by
your
itself.
console is now nothing. It's
Yep.
just a paperweight. And I'm like, wow, that's, like, ridiculous.
I can't. I just can't. Like I'm looking at people hyping up Ethernet ports. I'm like we're hyping up Ethernet ports on a console when that was
Crazy
a
work.
staple for how long? I mean, how long have we had Ethernet ports on consoles?
I
Xbox,
think
the original Xbox had an Ethernet port.
yeah,
Yeah, that's going back
One.
over what 20 years.
yeah.
So
Yeah, almost. It'll be 25 years next year.
so wow, congratulations! You got an Ethernet port in 25 years. Like this is
Yeah.
that's what we're dealing
I
with.
think it's hard for me to sit there and watch like some of the people there and bitch and moan about all the anti-consumer stuff that's happening on the other hardware, and then talk about Nintendo like they're doing nothing wrong. And I'm like, you just proved that you're a hypocrite. Like
Yep.
you can't stand on your words. So you're like, you can't. No one can believe you around if you say you're going to do something. Are you really going to do it?
Oh, yeah, it's weird too because these be the main ones that like try to insert themselves in conversations, whether it be like about the opposite sides, right? They'll say
Yep.
like
Every time.
Microsoft's out of touch or PlayStation's out of touch, but it's like we address that same or we direct that same energy towards Nintendo. Oh, y'all just looking to complain, y'all knocking innovation. I mean, people with damage control paying what was it, $80, $70 for a cardboard back then with Nintendo.
Oh, the Nintendo Labo.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah, people damage control that. People was like, somebody actually told me, like, yo, you can get a 3D printer. It's no big deal. I said, do you know how much a 3D printer is? Like,
Crazy work.
this is what you deal with. This is what you deal with. And I
Yeah.
thought it was just funny. It was just a whole funny thing. But what can you do?
What's up, tell us?
What?
Just sit back and laugh. That's what I do most of the time nowadays, man.
I can't. Like, it's for
Sit back and
kids.
laugh.
Okay, if it's for kids, why you crying? Why you bent out of shape over us?
Right.
There you
I
go.
understand it's selling like gangbusters, and the initial hype is going to be there. But if you look at it, a lot of people are going to go, "What are the killer IPs that are coming down the line for this?" Yes, you've got what Donkey Kong Bonanza coming out, but for a lot of people, and that's me, and as well,
Oh, yeah.
like I'm the person who like is a Zelda obsessed fan. Like that
Yep.
is
The Kid
one of my
Icarus,
favorite
all the cool
franchises.
stuff we had. Right.
And they don't what they have Hyrule Warriors. That is
Yep.
not a mainline game. So I'm not interested in picking this up anytime soon. And the console never will go on a discount. The games will never go on a discount from their first party.
Oh,
Like
no.
you are paying the same price for that system 3, 4, 5 years later.
And it's a shame. It really is. Like Nintendo just I don't know how to say it. Nintendo has a way of being smug without actually saying anything, if that makes sense. They just have a way of being very smug. They had their Don Matrick moment not too long ago too, as well. I don't know if y'all
Yep.
remember. Basically,
Yep.
like, hey, listen, if you guys can't do this, that, and the third, we have a Switch. I'm like, okay,
Such a big head thing to say, man.
okay. People deal with them shit.
Game adaptation, you're right. Tears of the Kingdom wasn't different enough from Breath of the Wild for you. It wasn't as well, and I also thought that it wasn't as good a game. And yeah, I didn't like Skyward Sword with the way that you had the oh my god, what was that Wii remote in that on there. Yeah, so hit and miss for me on some of their
While we
games.
harping on Nintendo, the next news is sticking with the same course.
I'll wait for an
Nintendo
emulator.
to change prices for products and services in Canada and blame it on quote unquote market conditions. So a few things is going up in price. Um, Yeah, I don't know if they put out the official numbers yet. I think they did like after the fact when I put this in there. But yeah, man, that never like seeing
Wait,
anything.
changes? You mean it's going up? Is
Like
that what's
Yep,
happening?
yep,
increases,
yep.
increases. Yeah.
Increasing. Yep.
Of course, they had to use the word changes. It was like keywords,
Yeah.
marketing speak to change it from a negative to a less negative.
Yep.
Wow. Honestly, why don't you just admit that no one has any idea what's going on, and we just should all be acting? They should just be treating us like banks to try and get money out of us. Just admit it. That's how
Mhm.
you see us.
The U.S. is going to
Um,
follow suit. They're going to do it for the U.S. They're going to claim
yeah.
it's the same thing, but let's face it, it goes back to tariffs. People claim that it was tariffs the reason why games went from 70 to 80. But if y'all remember, if y'all go back just a few months prior, we were talking about price increase long before any
Long.
tariffs hit this market. And the game in question that was supposed to going to start it was GTA 6.
Yes.
Who went first into this instead? It was Nintendo. Nintendo went full gas pedal in with Switch 2 with $80. And now you have everybody following suit trying to go, hey, listen, our
Mhm.
games are $80. But I made a video about this and everybody immediately woke up and I was like, thank God I got through to you. Because think about it. If it was anything in particular due to tariffs, which affects hardware and physical releases, that shouldn't
Well,
affect
it's not
digital
fair.
releases.
Hmm.
Digital would have been your cheap alternative, right? If that
Hmm.
was the case. Digital also fell suit. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
It was never about anything about tariffs or
And I hate
hardware.
the market, the development costs going up. Fucking excuse because you guys is
Yeah,
mismanaging how you guys develop games. We
right.
shouldn't suffer as a consumer due to you guys not knowing how to get a fucking game out the door under a reasonable budget. Like that is the most frustrating defense mechanism these guys run to for me. I hate hearing that. I
Yeah,
really do.
Mm.
don't get me wrong. Sony, like I used to play this as an example here, right? Sony definitely got into mainstream, bigger audiences by pushing the realism and doing all that crazy stuff. Like, if you would have told me 25 years ago we would have like scenarios in Spider-Man games like we did now, like or in the 2018 Spider-Man game where you're fighting Doc Ock down the building, you know what I'm talking about? Stuff
Yeah,
like
that was
that we
amazing.
dreamed about. We
Yeah.
dreamed about
Yeah.
that back in the
Your
PS2.
imagination. Yeah.
Right. Now we're here. So stuff like that is cool. It improves not only like or it puts gaming into a different light in terms of looking at gaming as a source for like set pieces. You know what I mean? You see movies copy it. But then you also got to look at the situation of when you do that, what do you have at your arsenal? Most of the games in Sony's arsenal are double A style games, like the Ape Escapes. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the main stuff that they had. They're not pushing those. You don't have to make an Ape Escape look like, like Planet of the Apes, the real joint to make a game. You don't have to do that. You can
Mhm.
literally go right back to the old formula. Parappa the Rapper.
Mm.
There's tons of characters that Sony has in their arsenal. We haven't even gotten into the SOCOM. We haven't gotten into Killzone. We haven't gotten into Resistance, which got turned down. It's a lot of stuff. So
I
I don't know what to say, man. It just
really want a new Sly Cooper, man. I would love that.
dude, we've been talking about Sly Cooper since PS4 gen. They called it Sly 4.
Yep.
Hasn't happened, and that's another one. But you know what's crazy? They talked about making movies about this.
Hmm.
What's the point of making a movie about Sly Cooper and Ratchet and Clank instead of just focusing on the gaming aspect? Build the foundation that way, then you know what I mean? Then go into stuff
Mm.
like that if it's really really successful. But again, that's just Sony looking more at games as a way to branch out into other stuff rather than games what they should be at the end of the day, and that's system sellers.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, it's no matter how we look at this, it's just hard to see what's happening as a gamer. Like seeing PlayStation, who used to deliver game after game after game,
Yep.
and then we see that they've cancelled more games than delivered on. And obviously, their live service, understandable on that side. They become black holes, money pits if they're not going to deliver, and so better to pull. Like cut the ripcord then, and like
Yep.
let it go before it costs you any more money. But even them sort of doubling down on their second party and their third party, like money heading those games,
Hmm.
people have cottoned on to that, and we're in an environment where people aren't wanting walled gardens anymore. They're wanting to play on the platform that they want to play on and play the games where they want to play them with their friends everywhere.
Yeah.
And that is,
It's
we're a
actually,
very connected environment now, a world that we're living in, and we can't be sitting here going, all right, you can only play with this set people, these games, and no one else gets to play them unless they come here. And it's like,
yep. They
we've
gotta hope that they
consumers have
can
raised
jump
up.
to another side, right? And that's the thing too. There shouldn't be barriers between a gamer and his content. Shouldn't
No.
at all. And that's where hybrid consoles, because I don't know if y'all talked about that before, but hybrid consoles could very well be the way to make that perfect gamer experience. What I mean by
Yeah.
that is for the console guys, they can have their entry level consoles, which is basically the consoles that we have now. And those are like bridges. They act like bridges into higher echelons of gaming, so that way no one feels left behind and is left behind, because optimization should be key here. You know what I'm saying? You'll have your PC releases into the higher tech if you want to go into that route. But the cool thing about having a hybrid system is that everything you've done on console carries over into PC. So if you had your, let's say you just put, let's say you put 120 hours in Call of Duty and you've gotten every achievement. All that stuff pops when you go to PC.
Yeah.
That is something that I would absolutely be happy with in terms of console to PC. Why? Because you can go. There's no limits, no wall. You can go back down the console game if you need to, because we don't know a lot of people's situations can be. You might be in a situation where you can't plug in a PC. So guess what? You can go back to a console, plug it into a regular TV and outlet, and play that, and have everything from your PC version to the console. Like it's simple. Like consoles should not be looked at as like, oh, it's our way or the highway type of thing. No, they should be looked at as extensions to your hobby, extensions to your experiences. But it is what it is, man.
It
That's
is
what the
what
way
it
the
is.
things are gone.
I agree, man.
I'm just disappointed that like Xbox, in my opinion, we were talking about price increases as well, but Xbox putting their games up at $80 without a new generation.
Yeah.
Like that might have been more justifiable, not really, but might have been an easier pill to swallow for people knowing a new generation. Because if we look at this whole generation, they have not shown that they could deliver quality at $70.
They have not.
Hell, some developers weren't even delivering at 60.
Yep.
So why the fuck do you think we're going to believe you that you're going to deliver at $80 partway through the generation?
And I,
Yes, AI is going to help out, but that's next gen. That's coming next gen. And this is for everyone, because PlayStation was quality, 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 and they haven't been hitting the mark either. Nintendo, their hardware kind of holds them back on being able to hit the mark for a lot of gamers, and that's why people don't play on Nintendo if they want a 60 FPS experience on certain games. They'll go to PC, and that's where emulation comes in and those sort of things.
Yeah.
Gamers have shown you time and time again that they want a bit of freedom around how they want to play their games, the performance that they want to play them out, but they also show you time and time again that they want a game that actually is polished enough that you're not having to consistently patch it to make it playable. And putting your pricing your games at $80 doesn't breed any goodwill, because you haven't got any goodwill at this point.
Yeah.
The industry has not shown as a whole to the consumer that they are able to deliver on the promise of putting the prices up means quality is given as a whole. They
Yeah, no,
can't.
you would think with the way the industry is and the way games are being thrown at us, you would think like just in the midst of the energy, right? If you read the room type thing, you would think that people just don't like making games at this point, right? Because go to the PS4 gen. Remember how when y'all go to GameStop, y'all had those midnight releases and it kind of felt like a party in a sense. Everybody's aligned, ready to buy the game, get it, go home. You used to have that on PlayStation where they would give you custom themes. Who remembers those? You would get custom themes per game, especially you bought it day one. And you had the little countdown timer happening, and then you start. There's none of that. There's not even themes in general on PlayStation, like custom themes or like that.
They
Like,
gave you a theme and then they took it away and they've brought it back, which is the
makes no
30-year
sense.
anniversary.
30th anniversary. Yeah, it's like this just goes to show, like, again, so much stuff that we were expecting out of this gen was just cut and was not even a foresight, which says a lot. It really says a lot. Like it's a shame.
What's up,
But
Dreadful? Yeah, welcome. Yeah, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking what's happening at the moment for us.
I think the
I
best thing
even
you can.
remember like playing on the 360, and you know how we had the avatars, and like certain games, you got clothing items to put on your avatar for completing the game or doing certain achievements, gave you items that way, and then you get themes there for the 360. Gamers like that type of thing.
Yeah.
They will play the game to unlock that stuff. But now it's all behind a paywall. It's all in. It's just everything's behind a battle pass, behind microtransactions, behind everything else. And the games that aren't doing that to you are the ones that are succeeding in
Yep.
general. They're the ones that are delivering
Makes you
and
think,
giving
though.
that.
Makes you think, don't it? Makes you think.
Yeah, but it's not financially sustainable for those companies, right? Because they're putting their money into all this other stuff, and it's like, maybe get your foundations right and deliver some good games, and then
Yep.
see the goodwill come. Because if CD Projekt Red didn't have any goodwill,
Yep.
Cyberpunk would be dead, completely dead,
Yep.
absolutely dead. They have goodwill because they've done that for the gamer, and they're still here as a result. And we're gonna get the Witcher remake, the first one. We're getting The Witcher 4. We're getting a Cyberpunk 2 as a result, because they know that the gamers are going to be there because they've shown up for the gamers in turn. Yes, they made a big cock up with the Cyberpunk release, but I feel like that was a little bit of pressure from the people who were funding it to push the game out earlier than it was ready. The Red Engine was struggling to deliver on what they wanted to do it with the game, but we kind of knew what the potential of CD Projekt Red is, and so we're willing to sit it out and hold the line in that respect. Yeah. Interesting.
Fundamentals wins championships. Let's put it like that. Fundamentals win championships. Once you get your basics down packed and you have a good set foundation, you can sell anything. The problem is, though, this has been the afterthought. Everybody's focusing more on the monetization rather than actual good games quality.
Well, you see, even with us as consumers, like the uncertainty around purchasing a game and going, if I spend my money here, is the game like a live service game? Is the game going to be around
Yep.
in 2 or 3 months' time, or even 5 months' time? Will I even get my money back? It's really hard to go, I feel comfortable putting my money into this, because the whole industry is just so uncertain right now. And as a consumer, I'm looking at this going, how do I want to spend my money if I can't trust
Yeah.
what's going to happen with these games or these studios in the next year or so? It's really hard to ask us to spend our money when you can't even tell us, are you going to be here in a year?
Yeah, no, if you were like, how do I put it? Like, basically like a Concord situation. Like, basically what you were alluding to. You're basically alluding to a Concord situation. So
$400 million. That's a hard one to swallow, though.
that's your 600.
Mm.
Remember, 400 to fund it. Another 200 they lost. That's $600 million. But
Should have dumped all that in the
What's up, Dave?
Helldivers.
That's
man.
that's a tough ask. Whew.
They could have, but remember they screwed up Helldivers. They regionalized
Yeah.
everything, so that wouldn't have helped.
Stupid decision. Yeah.
Right. They fixed it all now. They bend the knee to
Well, there's no
PC.
PSN requirement on it, so I know we're going to talk
Anymore.
about Helldivers too shortly, but yeah.
Yeah, they got rid of all that stuff. But going back to that though, the Concord thing, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen for it to be, I would say, as dire as a Concord. Remember, Concord's biggest issue was the fact that the game didn't look impressive from the get-go.
It was very
A lot
vanilla.
of people were not feeling it from the get-go. Now, it would have been a different story if Concord came out 10 years ago when the craze around those particular type of shooters. Remember, those shooters weren't crazy over the, you know what I mean? Like, they weren't as crazy looking as whatnot, you know what I mean? Back then. It would have made sense to do that back then. You look at it now, it kind of makes sense that the game was received the way it was. But again, because everybody's looking like, okay, you want $80. You're now offering any free trials for PS Plus. This is your live service game. What exactly is this game doing? Again, that any other game of this same style is not doing. And they couldn't answer that question. And then the game died within 2 weeks.
Well, I don't even own a PlayStation. and I was very disappointed with that. And I was also even more disappointed. I think my biggest disappointment was factions being cancelled.
Oh, that one hurt my
Um,
soul. That hurt my soul.
yeah, I it felt like you know how like Scaleborn or Scalebound kind of
Scalebound.
hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt a bit like that. Sup Umbra, sup Umbra.
Oh,
Um, and I haven't played the Last of Us series, but I know how much that series means to me, and I can definitely understand it because that's how I feel about Fable. That's the whole reason I'm an Xbox gamer in the first place. That was the first game that got me hooked on Xbox was Fable.
yeah.
And so like when they closed down Lionhead Studios, I was so upset about that. And so I definitely understand like you were promised that you were going to get Factions 2. It didn't get launched in 2020. They only launched Last of Us Part 2 and they said it was coming later. Then you assume you're going to get an announcement on it, and then Neil Druckmann shows up at what showcase was it? And he's just showing the concept art, and they didn't even show anything else. And then to then hear that Bungie has come in and had a look at it and said, hey, you're probably going to need to put a lot more manpower, money, time, and energy into delivering this, and you need to make some improvements and changes in the space. And then to hear them cancel it. And I always remember, it was at Persona going, where is Factions? And I feel like that just became a meme in and of itself. But you know how much that hurt them, knowing that got cancelled and Concord got delivered, $600 million failure.
Yeah.
And then didn't even last a week before they kind of pulled it away from everyone. And so
Factions
yeah.
died for Concord to live, and
Yeah,
Concord died. Think about that. Concord
the
died
sad
within
truth.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And Shuhei Yoshida flat out said that he played Factions 2 and said it was awesome. Here's the thing. I don't know how much hours you put into Factions, Ben. I don't know how many hours. I put too many hours to that. That was it. You know what I mean? Like, I was really thinking, like, damn, this could be like a Gears of War type of vibe thing if they do it right. You know, add a little bit more speed to this, especially the dodge mechanics that was done in The Last of Us 2. I'm thinking this is going to be some elite, you know, tactical over, you know, like just insane
It's
game.
look beautiful.
It's look insane.
It's gonna look great. The work that they'd talked about with the way they'd done all the animations and such, and you could see the love and attention they'd gone into The Last of Us Part 2, and then to think that could be what was obviously
like the foundation, right?
Yeah, moved over onto obviously they'll be pushing a 60 FPS on that and those sort of things. And you could just see that the PlayStation community was really hyped and excited for it, and then the rug was pulled out from underneath them. And so it's just hard looking at that, because that's also how I feel about Perfect Dark right now. Very, very gut punch, very Scalebound-esque. The hype, and we're gonna talk about that later. But it's just, this is the industry that we're in. I mean, as consumers, this is where we choose to spend our money. And I'm like, do I have faith to spend my money here? No, I'm going to hold on to it and wait to see what happens. But if everyone's holding on to it and waiting to see what happens, and that's what's happening right now, is everyone's holding back on how they choose to spend their money. And we're being very, I guess, we're scrutinizing everything at this point, because you haven't shown us in good faith that we can put our money down here and know that it's the right place to put our money down.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just haven't. They just haven't.
It's a shame.
It is a shame. All right. Sorry, where were we next, Nero? We went off on a little bit of tangent, but it's a good tangent. Love it.
Good tangent.
Great conversation.
Halo Studios teasing reveal of what they're working on at this year's Halo World Championship in October. My take is going to be quick on this. Hurry up. You know what I'm saying? Like, hurry up. Like, enough. Like,
you're not wrong.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like I said, prior to playing Helldivers 2, Infinite was my favorite multiplayer game. They have left that by the wayside. I don't know what's up with these people just letting these games that got good legs and foundations just mismanagement. That's all it is. I don't know why I said that. I know exactly what it is. Mismanagement all around.
Yep.
This is getting real frustrating.
I'm really curious as to what they're working on, because I think they could just do the multiplayer that goes everywhere and then deliver your story at different intervals for those and that's what I think they should be doing, rather than trying to deliver the story and the multiplayer at the same time. Different teams, your multiplayer's there, and then deliver your story independently of that. And that should be how we're looking at it. But
Let's think of some Call of Duty like marketing. Show the single player first, and they showed the infamous multiplayer last. I don't know, maybe.
I'm curious. I want something. I'm
Yeah, I need
love
something.
Halo, and I just
Nah,
want to see.
I feel that. Because all we had from that was that first reveal, right? With just him and him standing, Master Chief. I think that's all we had. I don't think we saw anything else since then.
Was that the? Are you talking about when they announced Halo Studios and they showed us their
Yeah,
first
like the
ray
first
into
look at the
UE5?
arm. Yeah. We first saw
Yeah.
him. Yeah, that's like the last thing I remember seeing from.
Yeah, I feel like
The fact
Give
that
us
we got a
something.
sequel to Halo Infinite already out in the wild right now with a new book is, to me, just
Yep.
I get it. Like who. I mean, I don't. I'm not against the books and expanding the lore and shit, but it's like, come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I feel like if Bonnie Ross was still there, you would have heard something by now, low key, just something, because she was like very like talkative about the franchise. She was that, despite how a lot of people don't like certain decisions she made, she understood
advocated for it. Yeah.
she understood the value of transparency. She was very good at that.
Mm.
So I give Bonnie that.
Definitely, I'm
If, it,
excited,
if,
man.
it's a, if it's a, it might even be it might even be a tease going like Halo season 3, like the show. I'll be like, what? We didn't ask for that, but also low key kind of would like a season 3.
Even if they
fucked up.
announce a game, if it's not coming within the next year, I can't get
Yeah.
excited. That shit might get canceled. So I mean,
Yeah. I mean, talking about TV shows, right?
Playing Russian roulette with this game, so
literally every time.
literally we're playing Russian roulette. We don't know what's gonna make it. We don't know who's gonna get through the door.
Yeah. You have no idea at this point. I
Crazy
mean,
times.
it's insane with who's going everywhere. Yes, please. Infinite was yes. But we have Neil Druckmann. Delivered the following message to our team
Oh,
this morning.
God.
I've made the difficult decision to step away from my creative involvement in The Last of Us HBO,
Thank
with
God.
work completed on season 2 and before any meaningful work starts on season 3. Now is the right time for me to transition my complete focus to Naughty Dog and its future projects, including writing and directing our exciting next game, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, along with my responsibilities as studio head and creative of
That doesn't build good faith going into this newest game, Intergalactic.
Yeah. Co-creating the show has been a career highlight. It's been an honor to work alongside Craig Mazin and executive produce, direct and write on the last 2 seasons. I'm deeply thankful for the thoughtful approach and dedication the talented cast and crew took to adapting The Last of Us Part 1 and the continued adaptation of The Last of Us Part 2. All right, I'm going to throw to you, BitCloud. What are your thoughts around this? Because it's come out and I'm like, it was clearly writing was on the wall based on the reviews of season 2.
So from what I gathered, I was hearing that there might be 4 seasons of this just to finish the game, right? Like this season right here is going to be Abby's story, right? Then season 3 would be obviously, Ellie chasing Abby and whatnot, her friends getting killed, and then season 4 or something like that, and then that will lead to the final battle, which would be season 4 or something like that. But if you've been looking at some of these episodes, a lot of these episodes have been going through some drastic changes. Like they're not even close to the game.
Nope.
So it kind of makes me wonder either he was bumping heads with the showrunners in terms of like the creators that was helping him write everything going through, and he disagreed with probably how they saw how it ended. Let's face it, like Last of Us Part 2, I will give it flowers. It is Marvel visuals. It has a lot of great gameplay. It looks amazing. It's got some of the best voice acted scenes. It's really well done. Like everything is well done. The cinematography, everything is top tier in Last of Us Part 2. It's a step above Part 1. But that story has divided everybody in this, just in the gaming scene. A lot of people give it props for being creative and being, ambitious. But then they look at the long-term effects and they go, well, yeah, damn, now that I think about it, there's not really anything you can do to go into a part 3 that makes sense. And it kind of is the point. So I'm wondering if they're probably trying to change that for the finale of this, and probably a certain someone doesn't lose fingers. A certain someone doesn't chase a certain somebody. You know what I mean? There is no fights. But I don't know. But as far as him saying I'm putting all my attention into a game that he should have already been had his attention into,
Yeah.
is not a good sign at all. And this just goes to show I said that, priorities are not on what they need to be put on, and that's games. I could care less about how many TV shows you do. I don't care about a God of War TV show or Ghost of Tsushima. I don't care about that. Focus on the games first, and then you can do the passion project. That's basically what these TV shows technically should be labeled as,
Hmm.
passion projects. You do the passion projects last. You give us what we want first. That's the games.
You could have done
And
a whole different story of The Last of Us, actually.
I thought
Like you
they
look at
were
the
low
you
key.
look at the way the Jonathan Nolan, was it Jonathan Nolan?
Yep.
Wrote, and his wife wrote Fallout. It's still in the Fallout universe. It still takes some of the premise and everything in there,
It's not
but
directly the same, right?
it's not. It's so they get a bit of creative freedom in that space to kind of deliver what they're delivering. But everyone loved Fallout because it felt like Fallout, and I'm more excited, I agree, about Fallout Season 2 this year than anything else. Also, I agree that the change to Abby in the TV show, yes, prefer it. Definitely prefer it, which is why I was like,
They had no choice.
Intergalactic's
Yeah,
main
yeah.
character, like she could be muscly, but she could be lean, not like bulky muscly. It reminds me
Yeah.
of like when Vegeta first goes into like that Super
Super Saiyan
Saiyan mode,
2.
and he's like massive
Yeah.
and he's like slow, and then you see Goku like realizing that there's weaknesses in that form and going, that's not the right thing that you need to do, and
Uh-huh.
so.
Gotta channel it.
Mhm.
Go to the next evolution.
Yeah, 100%. Love, I'll just throw a Dragon Ball Z reference in there.
Yeah,
um,
you already know.
everyone knows when you're talking about that. They're like, oh yeah, makes sense. But yeah,
I guess the thing that was most telling to me was, when he said to focus on the writing, for Intergalactic. It's like, what do you mean?
It should have
Big
already been
Cloud
written.
said, that,
have your
yeah, that
story.
shit should be written. Like, it should be done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
That tells you he makes shit up on the fly. And I
100%.
think he'd be looking at social media, and he'd be thinking of ways to, how do I piss off one particular side or make an example out of it. Because remember, his whole point of the ending for part 2 of Last of Us was to tell us that senseless violence is wrong. Mind you, he's giving you a world that's filled with senseless violence. And keep in mind, it makes sense that it's senseless violence. It's a post-apocalyptic world. People are limited on resources. Humanity sucks in this world. People kill and murder and et cetera, for food and resources. Some just do it for the outright fun of it because there's no higher rule. It's freedom.
It shows that sometimes giving them enough time and
Yep.
enough money, and they can hang themselves with it.
Literally, and that's the thing too. As far as what you said about Abby in the TV show, like people were like, "Yo, how they gonna make her look like?" It's funny. I actually talked to the woman who played Abby, not
The voice actor?
not the voice actor, the woman,
Oh,
who's the body double. Her name is
Oh.
Colleen Foch. I was looking at Colleen Foch, and I'm looking at the game. I'm like, okay, why did they make her this bulky in this post-apocalyptic world when she can look just like Colleen, where it actually looks believable, where you're like, she likes track star. Those of you that wonder, Colleen's more like a track star / she does power lift here and there, but she's not like overly, like overly built. She has like a very set type of build. You know what I mean? Like that makes sense for the world that actually
In
fits.
order for us to believe that Abby was that butch, we need to see her gym.
And
And all
literally,
the protein she fucking eats.
and they show you the gym, but it's like she's eating these little ass burritos and she's eating them in like 3 bites. I'm like, that's not enough to get that jacked. I don't know how bodybuilding works.
All the
You need to get
steroids she's been
done.
taking.
Right. I'm guessing in the midst of you showing this gym, you forgot to show me the secret stash of roids that have been hidden that nobody has no use for. But she's like, oh, I got those. I'm gonna gear up for this fight, and that's what happened. Cause she looks terrible, especially in the end fight. When she's like drained, she lost her muscle mass. She looked horrible at the end of the game. She did not even look like a threat, but somehow managed to bite Ellie's fingers off. Make it make sense. I don't know, but this is Neil writing,
She
not
had a
mine.
great dentist before this all happened. That's it's quality teeth. All the calcium she was taking.
Lindsay should be dead. she was damn near technically death by or she was hemorrhaging. Right?
She seen
Oh,
Ellie
no,
fingers and said, "Yes, the protein I've been missing."
Right here in these teeth. That was her number one damn thing she had. So, but yeah, no, I will say that's probably the best casting, regardless of how
Yes.
she looks on the show.
Yeah.
I think she's the best casting, and the reason why. And here's the wild part: you might think I'm crazy for saying this, but if you look at Ellie, like in the video game character, on the cover art of the game, she looks exactly like Ellie does. You would think that they would recast Ellie and have her play Ellie, have someone else play Abby. Because I'm telling you right now, that is where I thought Ellie or Abby, or excuse me, Ellie was going to look like. Nope.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with their casting for Ellie.
I thought she worked for the younger version, right? But I
Yeah,
thought
for the
as
younger, yeah.
years go
Older
by, they would
version.
recast. Like they did for The Walking Dead. Remember how they had little Judith? Then they went to high, and then she got, years went on. They went to the older actor. They did that time skip. Makes sense. They didn't do that. So this
Yeah.
goes to show that's HBO pushing a narrative. Like, oh, she was good in Game of Thrones, which she was. She was great in Game of Thrones. But
Yeah, she was. But I
she's
didn't think it
amazing in
translated.
Game of Thrones. Yeah, it just didn't translate to her being the right pick for Ellie.
Yeah.
I just
agree.
didn't see that.
All right. Yeah. All right. Where are we? Totally
We
lost
got
train of
the
thought.
Callisto
Such as-
Protocol hits 7.2 million players per LinkedIn post, and that's good. I think that game was kind of overhated.
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoyed it. I think it got a really good PS5 Pro patch as well. Throw that in there. I think the DLC was personally a letdown, but besides that, I enjoyed the game. I thought it was,
I think they
it was
overhyped the
okay.
SSD though of the PS5 a little bit in their marketing, which really pissed off a part of the community that was like, that isn't going to make too much of a difference. Then the version that
Well,
released,
it was
then
big
the
for
version that
content
released on
creators.
Xbox wasn't well optimized.
Yeah. It
But
was
I'm
big for-
glad it hit 7.2 million sales.
Mhm.
A lot of games aren't doing that.
No.
Nah, no, not sales, players.
Oh,
Remember,
players, sorry. 7.2
this
million
was in
players.
PS Plus and Game Pass. So
Okay, well, there you go.
yeah.
So what were you going to say, BitCloud?
No. I was your point about the SSDs. Like, I agree. They were definitely overhyped. I remember I talked about them back then. I was like, they're doing this and the third. But again, it's all about just loading things faster, making things similar. That's all it is. People thought that was going to give you higher frame rates. I'm like, no, that goes to your GPU. Your GPU
Yeah.
handles.
Hey, they cured cancer, right? That's what they were doing.
Rewrite speed. That's all it is, man. It's faster.
I will say,
Yeah.
based on some of the wording Mark Cerny was using,
He made you believe it.
He
Yeah.
made me believe drawing wasn't going to be a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, pop in, I should say. That's why I guess I'm disappointed so much in the Rebirth and the Rise of Ronins.
Well, it goes back to optimization. And
Yeah.
aside from optimization as well, that's them pushing so much the visuals as opposed to having a simple template. Like if you go to the Nanite engine, remember the Nanite engine when we saw for PS5 where it was 30 FPS and you saw everything run so seamless, it was like beautiful, right? You see that, you're like, damn, is that 4K? A lot of people could tell that it wasn't 4K, but it looked so good you didn't care.
You didn't care.
You didn't mind it. And they also said they could have toggled 60 FPS. If that could have been the template, this gem would have been a whole different story, and people wouldn't have complained for a lot of stuff. But instead, they pushed the visuals.
Smoke and mirrors, though, right?
Yeah,
And
because
yeah.
and I knew it wasn't gonna last long because I remember when Insomniac Games first showed off Spider-Man 2's gameplay. Remember how dudes were like trying to flip and say, "Oh, it doesn't look that good visually," and I'm like, are you out of your mind? Or like, what are you talking about? It doesn't look that good. Look at it, it's not polished. Insomniac Games are hacks, and then they give you the polished trailer version. Like, oh, now that's next gen. It's like, I already knew it was going to be optimization issue as soon as they did that. I already knew, because people care more about the aesthetic because they try to one up one another game as opposed to just accepting the games the way they should be accepted as, and that's a
Yes.
simple base form. Optimize 60 FPS. That's how every game should be, period. But
I mean, Indie games prove that sometimes gameplay is king.
That is
Vampire
fact.
Survivors.
Yep.
Vampire Survivors.
Cilantro. Cilantro did really, really well. I mean, it's a lot of great games.
I mean, if Pokemon had launched the way it had when we were kids, that would
Ah,
have been considered an indie game with the visuals that's on there.
yep.
Um,
Pokemon
but
Emerald, still one of the
yeah,
greatest of all time.
yeah. So visuals aren't everything, but it is a big way to sell a product and sell an engine and sell a dream to someone. Their hopes in that side of things, and that's what they're really selling. They're like, yeah, okay.
All right. Next up, we have EA leadership being absolute fucking idiots once again, and they are setting up Battlefield
I'm not surprised.
Six
Nice
to
surprise.
fail. EA leadership reportedly wants 100 million people playing the next Battlefield game, and for reference, the most that I think they had before was 30 million on one. So
They've never even hit that collectively with all their games
with
combined,
all their
right? They
games
haven't.
combined,
Yep.
I don't know what type of thought process they have going on over there.
LSD. They're on
Mm,
LSD.
And they also are cutting back on the campaign. It's down to 6 hours now. They still trying to find ways to cut back. At this point, I don't know what they have going on. I'm
Don't
assuming it's going to be a pay
copy
for
God, man.
experience.
Just do your own
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Come on.
And they also it just slipped my mind, man. But it was a bunch of things that I just wasn't happy about reading some of the news, like the campaign cutbacks, some free to play uh, modes, because the game is going to be a pay for experience. I'm not sure how they try. I guess they try to take the Halo Infinite route, maybe pay for the campaign, but you got free to play modes like a battle royale. I have no idea what they're
I love
doing.
what's up.
Yeah, good luck. That's my take on it too. Good luck. Yeah, good luck.
Gamers ain't paying as it is.
Yeah, exactly.
What are they launching it? Like, where are they launching it? Like, this
I
needs to go
guess
into EA Play Day 1 as well.
need to do something.
Needs to go in there day 1 for them. People can choose to buy it. People can choose to get it through a subscription. Very interesting.
Yep.
100 million copies. They really
So
need to show us something massively different.
yeah,
Because COD's been like taking their lunch for the last how many years? It's kind of sad because COD should also be doing things differently as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yep. This news I was kind of bummed out about because I love Techland, but Dying Light 2 developer Techland has announced that they have canceled two upcoming games. I know they had a fantasy style RPG game in the works, and I'm not sure about the other game. Um, Thankfully, I don't. This Dying Light, the Beast is being treated as Dying Light 3 in their eyes, so I guess
Mhm.
that's a good thing. I'm definitely a fan of Dying Light. Probably a pick up Dying Light the Beast, if not day one, some point later on sale. Yeah, a lot of I hate seeing cancellations. But I mean, from a smaller studio like this that don't have a lot of backing and funding, that's to be expected. Can't get too mad at
Mm.
that. It is a smaller, more
More
independent team.
cancellations than new games. Just remember that this entire
Yeah.
gen. That's been the whole trend this entire gen.
Yeah, well, they're saying the company incurred record losses, approximately 37 million in 2024 and 25 million in 2023. And so obviously they're having to relook at it. Hopefully, what they deliver with Dying Light, the Beast helps. But again, it's just more of the same. It's really hard to kind of get hyped for games when you're hearing other games being cancelled and you're like, is the studio going to be around
Hmm.
later on? Yeah,
Uh,
it just feels like the industry is reducing in size at this moment, and I feel like we are heading towards a bit of a crash with the industry, and they
Oh
need to
yeah.
figure out how to fix it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Priorities need to be put. Like not every game needs to be a cinematic movie, and that's not how gaming is was. You can have select titles be like that, but not every game has to be like a God of War over the top
hmm.
pushing something like that. No, doesn't
no,
have to
they
be
don't
that.
need to all be AAA.
Yeah, not every game needs to be AAA. And
Hmm.
also, not every game needs to be $80 or 70. You can
Yep.
drop these prices down and these budgets down significantly and you will be fine. But again,
Well, they're charging what $80, and they're like, That's the base game. Mm-hmm. If you want anything extra,
It's
you
another
have to.
$20.
And I'm like, just give us those extras at the $80 as an incentive to buy it.
Yep. And we
What are
haven't
we
even
getting out
factored
of
in
it?
subscription costs to even access these games online. Those are going up, etc. Like it's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot.
Everything's going up. So people are now going like price of food,
My
power,
mortgage, my power, water bills.
everything. And so at this rate, there's not much left to spend that money on. And so I feel like they need to really go through and reprioritize everything and just look at the reality of the situation as their consumers can't afford this. That's what it is. And so it's going to crash. It's definitely going to crash, and you can definitely feel it crashing.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely on the way.
Yeah.
Sony has increased game prices in Brazil. Several first and third party games have seen a huge increase due to quote unquote challenging market conditions.
Nah.
That's been the theme, man, all year apparently. Challenging market
conditions.
conditions.
In other words, we're
just
doing
put that
it
on a
because we
t-shirt.
want to.
Yeah. It's my new
That's
logo.
what's going to happen. Like, you know how Jim Ryan came out and when he announced the PS5 and he just showed the logo. Someone should come out and announce and just behind them challenging marketing conditions should just be the text behind one of those people. Because I feel like that's what we're living in right now is just challenging market conditions. And I'm like, you think it's challenging market conditions? Ask the consumer what challenges they're living in, and they'll tell you, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh.
Challenging marketing conditions.
I hate hearing that BS, man.
You lost me with that one.
Well, you know that Brazil is always hit really hard. And you can hear it when the gamers come out and talk about it with what's happening in Brazil, like whether it's Xbox, whether it's Nintendo, whether it's PlayStation. They are always hit really hard just with the way their economy is. And so you just know that if Brazil's getting this now, there's just going to be more flow-on effect for other markets that are going to then... It's a domino effect. It's just going to keep happening and happening and happening. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous and BS. This news is probably my highlight of the week, man, because I absolutely love Helldivers 2. My multiplayer game of the generation so far. I'm kind of tired of PvP, even though I do want, a new Halo or something like that. Helldivers 2 announced for Xbox Series X and S August 26th, the same day as Gears coming to the PlayStation. So a good fair trade, in my honest opinion. You have a lot of people on Twitter absolutely losing their mind. People talking about selling it. They're basically going through what the Xbox community went through over the last year. They just late to the party. So
yeah, one dude saw some. I'm done, y'all. This will be my last PlayStation. Immediately in the back of my mind. I don't know if y'all said this to you, but I was like, okay, see you at PS6 reveal.
Yep.
Like literally, I'm like, Doug, I'll see you at the PS6. Matter of fact, no. Not only will I see you at PS6 reveal, I see you at PS6 midnight release day one in line. Like, yeah, I got it, so I can laugh at you. Like,
I'll see him at the next day to play.
Exactly.
He's become a meme now. He's just become a meme.
How dare you put my games on Xbox? First of all, I would love to see your PSN because something tells me you didn't buy these games to begin with. But that's just me being petty, though.
Gritty, I agree. I think the Xbox community is going to love Helldivers 2. I also think it's really interesting that people like Xbox gamers don't buy games unless it's on Game Pass, so this isn't going to do well. This is the type of
the devs
game.
came out and said no Game Pass, no way. Which in my opinion, I'm like as they should. I mean, it's only fucking $40. Like,
yeah.
But I look at this game and I go,
games that Sony's dropped this entire gen.
It shouldn't be in Game Pass. And as somebody who loved this game, it don't need to be in Game Pass, and it don't need to be in PS Plus.
Here's the thing, too. I've seen a lot of support for this. People are showing the screenshot to buying the game. That's number one. Number two, they removed all the restrictions that stopped the game from succeeding beforehand. Remember, it was doing ridiculous traction. Then they did the restrictions and people, canceled their sales. Now they removed that. So it is absolutely interesting. It's interesting to see how this game either grows or where it stands going forward. If this game does grow any further, expect a lot more games to be having an open door type of approach when it comes to going forward.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think
I
this
just don't
game.
understand how more people having access means I'm getting rid of a console. I just, for
Yeah.
the life of me, I
Well,
can't.
they've set their whole
I don't understand it.
identity around exclusives and PlayStation.
And hating on
That-
Xbox. That's the
and
other thing.
hating on Xbox
Yeah.
because we all know that if the Rogue Ally had come out and this hadn't had the word Xbox in it, no one would have been talking about it in the
Exactly.
way it
It's
was.
not a PC. It's not an Xbox. And like, bro, so Microsoft literally said that the whole "this is an Xbox" campaign literally applies to everything that's an electronic device that can play and stream games. So how is it not an Xbox? Right out the gate, you sound stupid. I laugh at the whole thing. And now you have people who built their identities around hating Xbox, saying Xbox is dead, now trying to say that it's a good thing that Helldivers 2 going to Xbox makes all the sense. And I'm laughing at that too. It's like,
Financially speaking, it makes so much sense.
well, when I mentioned this in videos, y'all called me crazy. Y'all said this would never happen. I'm just catering to Xbox fanboys and all this dumb stuff. It's like, no, I have a bigger vision than you. I see where things are going. It makes sense. It shouldn't be no tethered links to anything. Everything should be open. These developers, if you interview a developer right now, the number one thing they talk about is more gamers getting to play their games.
Yeah.
When they all play, they all win. Why? Because you have a bigger audience, more people can potentially track on, and that game can become the next, like hypothetically, Minecraft or whatever the case may be. They have the users access to it. They have access to it. That's it. And I can see Helldivers doing really good at 40. But the thing is, though, going forward, what else games you gonna do? And I saw my man Porter Rock made an interesting comment. Shout out to Porter Rock. He said, y'all think this is going to just stop with multiplayer games? I've been saying that for the longest time. It's not going to just be multiplayer games. It's going to go
isn't it?
right. It's going to go to single player. They're going to see this extra money they're getting, and that's going to lead to every game eventually taking the same route and go. So,
I think this game is definitely going to be successful on Xbox anyway because it's the type of game that Xbox gamers are used to. They're used to playing like Gears with their friends, Halo with their friends, all of this. They're used to playing those shooter games.
And it's nothing like this on Xbox. Xbox themselves have put out nothing on this level. Period.
Yeah, and I feel like this is the perfect spot for a game like this to thrive. For those who are missing Halo, and you can play this in the interim. And I know it won't be everyone's cup of tea, but I feel like the price point, the type of game it is, the community that's already in Xbox itself with the gamers there, would be set up for success. And they're like, oh, even if it sells 1 million games of sales, and I was like, I reckon it's going to sell more. I think it's going to do quite well because it's just the type of game that suits that particular gamer that chooses to game on Xbox. 100%.
I honestly think it has the potential to match what was sold on PlayStation, or if not, surpass it. Because this is just like I said. This is what Xbox gamers expect from Xbox themselves, and quite frankly, we haven't gotten that this generation. In my humble opinion.
I think it's going to prove a different narrative around Xbox gamers don't buy games. The thing with Game Pass is you can try before you buy. You don't necessarily have to buy. You get a discount if you buy through Game Pass, if you subscribe to that. But we look at this and go, there are plenty of games in Game Pass that look at this and go, that was never worth my time or money or energy. And I'm so glad I didn't spend any money on it and try and get a refund because it's really hard to do so. But then there are games in there that I definitely would pick up. But financially speaking, you can't buy every game that you want to pick up. And so we're still looking at this going, okay, I play my games on Game Pass and then I can buy games that I necessarily can't get on Game Pass. And this is one of those ones that is priced at a really good price point to go, let's purchase this game. But I also look at this and just go, for those people who have been moving the goalpost here and here and going, they're never going to put a game on Xbox. Then we got MLB and they were kind of talking about, well, that's not Sony's fault around that. It's to do with contract reasons and so on and so forth. And it's like, doesn't matter. It was seen as a PlayStation exclusive. The needle is moving. Then you see Horizon Zero, or like Horizon, the IP itself, getting a Lego version that went to Switch, published by PlayStation. They're like, well, that's just because it's Lego. And then you've got people turning around trying to say something else. Well, and they're saying that, first off, like this was the conversation was last year or the year before when this game released. Was this game? It's a second party studio. The IP is owned by PlayStation. It's never going to Xbox. Now people are saying, like, some people are saying what is owned by what the studio is owned by PlayStation. Some people got their facts wrong. It's an IP owned by PlayStation. Yes, a second party developer created that game for them.
But it's owned by PlayStation. It's
But
made
it's
by
owned by
PlayStation.
PlayStation. It's made by PlayStation. They own the IP to try and think,
Or should I say
try and-
PlayStation Publishing Studios, which
well,
seems
yeah,
more
it's
interesting
published
about that
by
too.
them. It's published by them, and so to say that they didn't have a like it was just Arrowhead pushing this, guarantee it wasn't just Arrowhead. PlayStation is looking at ways to make more money, to be successful, to have that live service side of things. A great way to do that. Competitors.
And they did it with Lego
Put on
too.
a-
People forgot about that. The Lego game that went to Switch.
Yeah, the Horizon Lego game. Yeah.
But let's face it, it's Lego #1, and Horizon was kind of already like milked. People were tired of seeing Horizon. They wanted
But
something.
you know, it's like the tide coming in. You know, when you're sitting on
Yeah.
the beach and the tide's coming in, and you have to keep moving your towel back. And I feel like that is what's happening with some of the hardcore PlayStation community trying to cope with what is happening. And I said, I just think it's interesting because this is their first major successful live serviced game, and they're putting it on a competitor. Xbox hasn't done that in the past. Like, they had plenty of live service sort of or multiplayer games that were successful before they went to other platforms. So it's very interesting to see that PlayStation has now followed suit and done that, and that's what they are doing. They keep following suit. And to think that it's not going to be anything else other than just live service, that was us, for those who were thinking it was just 4 games last year. The
Yep.
writing is on the wall, and you're going to have to keep pulling your towel back because that water's going to keep coming in until it washes you away, and reality sets in that these games are going to more places. There might be time delays and so on around like exclusivity around the game being not on Xbox for like 2, 3 years, 4 years. People trying to compare Death Stranding example where it's a 5-year-old game and it's now going to Xbox. The IP isn't owned by PlayStation, so it can go wherever it wants. But this is owned by PlayStation. Stop
Yep.
acting like it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. It's the first. It's like every narrative that you're said, PlayStation has kind of proved that what you thought was going to happen is wrong, because that's not what PlayStation is doing. They're a business at the end of the day. Sony wants them to be successful. They are such a big component of Sony. They need to be making money. And so what do? You put your games in other places where you can continue to make money. They've already got the game developed. Nexus, their own first-party studio for porting PC titles, is doing the port. It would be different if it was a different studio doing the port,
Yep.
but it's their own studio. They now have access to dev kits for Xbox.
Hey, listen.
So they could port more games.
You're talking too much sense. Pretty soon you're just going to be hearing them say, well, it's just one game. Remember, it was just 4?
Yeah.
Now it's just
one
one.
game.
One game. Oh, it's just 2 games, guys. Not the end of the world.
Real quick, thank you for the $2, Demo
Thank
Flow
you.
Gaming,
Thank you,
man. He
Flo.
said, I'm better late than ever wow. Oh, too soon, man. Ever wow, aka never wow, right?
man.
My thing is like this, like, bro, I'll go over the games at, bro. Like Silent Hill 2, PS5, time exclusive, bro. I'm not waiting. I understand everybody
certain
don't
games
got
you're not
that
gonna wait
access.
for.
Yeah, certain games
Right.
you're not gonna
Certain
wait
games
for. I
you might wait
understand
for.
some people got, financial responsibilities they want to, but me personally, bro, I'm not waiting on no freaking PlayStation game to come to Xbox. That's just me personally. If it's something I want to play, I'm gonna go get a PlayStation. If you want to sit around and wait years and pray and hope, it's the same thing with Xbox. Like, yeah, he said just 4 and then gave a lot more than just 4, but it's people on PlayStation right now sitting on their hands waiting for Starfield. We know it's coming eventually, but it's just like a waiting game. And me personally, I can't do that. I'm not gonna do
PC
that.
gamers are the same. They
Can't
wait
do
for
it.
shit.
Yeah,
They wait for shit. They know what's coming.
yeah.
They will wait because, I mean, you play your games where you prefer to play them on a platform you prefer, right? And some people have no issue. They'll go where the games are, and that's how it works.
I will say this, though. and this is obviously going in regards to the. Well, I don't know if
Thank
that's
you,
one of the
fuck you.
topics, but the layoffs. But AI, man, I don't know how I feel about the future where
Me
AIs
too,
are.
bro.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm right there with you.
Losing that human connection and that vision from actual creative minds that are imagine a Kojima game without Kojima's direct involvement and it's AI being done. No, I can't. I can't. I
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah,
So
No.
I'm good on that.
Like
yeah,
I understand when we're talking like procedurally generated like
images
worlds
maybe.
and stuff, like
Yeah.
those sort of things where you have those procedure generated and AI helping with what it's doing around engine work and creating a game for that, but the creative process, the idea around what you want to put into a game, even the art, all of that needs to come from us. AIs can help, but I'm also a little bit concerned. I mean, we're going to talk about the layoffs in a moment. I mean, shortly, but what this means because of where Microsoft is obviously steering their ship and how that's impacting the wider business and like
Yep.
trickling down to even the gaming side of things. It's a it's a bit of a wake up call for some people.
100%. Definitely.
Thank you, fuck you, for the gifted membership, and congratulations to Jedi Knight Peter. Um, yeah, for getting the gifted membership from fuck you. But Pete, just get good, get good. Sorry, what were we gonna say, Nero?
No, I think that was just pretty much the end of my points, man. I just think everybody losing their mind. I just think it's funny seeing it from the other side of the fence because I definitely was losing my mind. But I'll say this, right? I think
Agreed, demo.
Xbox fans had more of a reason to be upset with Xbox giving PlayStation games than PlayStation players should be having with Xbox getting games because, like I said, Xbox isn't out here trying to always keep shit off of PlayStation. And I get it and from a business standpoint, I get it when you can't just go out and acquire every fucking body left and right and then fire half of them, right? You got to do what you got to do to still stay competitive. So if that means you got to help fund games and get them timed exclusives, do what's best for you as a business, right? But as a
Mm,
consumer, it's up to you if you want to choose to support that or not. You understand what I'm
Yep.
saying? I will say it seems like a lot of these timed exclusives, Sony do help some way or form with the development and just helping them out. So at least it's not, hey, you did all the hard work. Now let's just give you a check to keep this here. It seemed like a lot of the cases Sony do be hands on, but like I said, man, definitely go where the games are at. Like
Yep.
I don't feel the need to rush to go get PC gaming, quite frankly, because I feel like between my Series X and PS5 Pro, I got everything I need, between my
mm.
backlog and shit like that. But the moment it's a PC only game that's fucking fire, that grabs my attention, guess what? I'll invest into that ecosystem.
Agreed, demo.
I just think everybody just got to do what's best for them gaming wise, man.
Yeah.
If you don't support if you don't support a certain thing that these devs do, stand on it and stand on it all around the fence. Don't like something when Microsoft do it, but Sony do some shit, and then you try to accept it, or don't,
It's
or
just
vice versa. That's corny, man.
some people get into a pack mentality around it and they'll just do what everyone else tells them. It's like, it's your
100%.
money. Do what you want to do with your own money and don't let anyone tell you what to do with your money. You can maybe listen and see whether or not they've got good arguments around it, but at the end of the day, you're choosing how to spend it. I also think it's just interesting watching the narrative around the Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox and some of the comments, some of the hardcore PlayStation community is talking and using narratives that Xbox was using last year when we were talking about it's just 4 games, and it'll be like these games that they're now enjoying. They realize that Xbox games aren't shit, so they might one day buy an Xbox, and they're saying like it's that type of Trojan horse mentality, that narrative that they're talking about, because they saw someone put a narrative out there that this is going to be encourage, like this game going to Xbox is going to encourage Xbox gamers to pick up a PlayStation, and so they're moving it. The goalposts are shifting again around the narrative that's happening, and it's happening faster with one platform than it is with the other. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just so interesting to see. I just love the discourse. I think this game, all the crap that was happening online was get your popcorn out and just watch and enjoy people destroy their own narratives and destroy themselves. At the end of the day, who the hell cares that more people get to play a game that you love, because that game lasts longer. The longevity behind that game means it's going to be here for longer. You're probably going to have better experiences as a whole, like new people to play with, new people to kind of teach and explain your love of the game to them. Yeah, I don't know. It's so interesting that people just want a console war.
It just goes to show that they never really cared about the game itself. They just wanted the bragging right of the game.
Yeah.
That's all it was. That's really what it is. Like that's what you're seeing. More people crying about bragging rights and having the ability to count it on their hand, saying like, "Oh, we have this, then I have this," and that's literally it.
Yeah, grow up.
Please,
You're just
bro.
a consumer at the end of the day. You have no say. Those who are talking about PlayStation betraying them, PlayStation don't even know who the fuck you are, man.
PlayStation
You're
doesn't
just a
owe you jack
number.
shit aside from games.
Yeah,
They're giving
that's
you
all that they
that's what they
have.
need.
That's what they owe you, and they haven't been delivering
Yep.
on it. Yeah.
But y'all want to complain about others getting to play it, which could potentially fund the games that you quote unquote want.
Well, what do you think about the comment of them saying that this is a lifeline to Xbox because Xbox is dead? Would you think that this is a lifeline to Xbox?
A lifeline to Xbox. I feel like everybody's going to be saying that because everybody's going to be removing their barriers.
I mean, I agree
Both
because
sides.
I think Gears and Sea of Thieves is a lifeline to PlayStation. The motherfuckers can't
Exactly.
get a live service game out the fucking door if their
100%.
life depended on it. So I
Because
mean,
think
Were they
about it.
using that? Were they using that language before? No,
Exactly.
no, they weren't.
they're hypocrites.
Because think about it. The biggest thing that people were fearful of, especially when it came to acquisitions, was Call of Duty potentially being locked out of PlayStation through Microsoft purchasing them. Like, oh no, they're going to take this and that. I'm like, and I'm over like, no, they're not going to lock Call of Duty out of anything. That's too big of a franchise to not, you know what I mean, not make money off of, especially while most of the users in the console space are on PlayStation. So no, they're not going to do that. They would have leverage to do something like that if they wanted to, but again, that would be catastrophic in terms of sales
Stupid.
profit margins.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do that. What you're seeing is the era of boundaries being broken, barriers being crumbled,
Yeah.
and you're now seeing it where gaming, ironically, going back to PS2 and OG Xbox days. Remember how we didn't have hardly as much exclusivity as you might think we did. Everything was available. The only reason why you did see a lot of games that weren't on the OG Xbox because the OG Xbox came out later, pretty much, and it was still establishing itself.
It was behind the game, yeah.
Yeah, like all the Budokai games were on PlayStation only at the time. But guess what? People might be going, oh, those are exclusives. Sony didn't own any of these games, especially GTA. They didn't own a single one of these games. These games just happened to be in that situation. But it'd be like that. So,
Yeah. I mean, really hard to jump into a market that's already established, then
Yep.
convince these developers to suddenly support your game when you might not have the sales behind it. It's shown itself around the longevity that it's here to stay, regardless of what that looks like in the future. Because we know hardware 10 years down the line isn't going to be what hardware is today.
oh, yeah.
No, cloud infrastructure isn't going to be what it is today,
So-
10 years down the line.
That was always a pipe dream. Like, remember how they said that this would replace the ability to or the need to invest in direct hardware to hardware back compatibility?
Yeah.
We knew that was never going to be the case because Google Fiber is not everywhere. Not everybody has gigabit speeds. We knew for a fact that that was just BS. Nobody's going to stream a game with delay.
They have
want
limits.
a full-fledged games. Right. They wanted that. And, you know, it is crazy, though, because the main narrative I've heard since the start of this generation is how bad Xbox games are. And, yeah, if you look at the top 10 games on PlayStation, they're all Xbox.
I mean, to be fair, the top game on that should just be Forza Horizon 5 because Forza Horizon is just peak racing. Fuck, I love that series. Oh,
That's a lot right there.
but it's also interesting listening to people trying to say that PlayStation is not a third-party publisher because it's only one game. But I'm like,
They've
well,
been
that
third
Horizon series.
See, I don't
Mel B?
get these talking points.
They're like,
Yeah,
oh, the damage control with
doing that
Lego was like, it's a Lego thing. Lego made the game. Sony didn't make the game, even though Guerrilla
I
Game
see.
Studios executives and
Collaborated.
yeah, and developers even came out and said, yeah, we worked on this game and we're very proud that it's going to Switch. So it's like, are you sure they're not third party? And then they announced the game's going to Xbox. Oh, I'm
You know what?
done.
That's probably the next game to come to Xbox is Lego Horizon.
I don't even think that game will sell regardless of where it goes.
I
Just
know, but I'm
look,
just saying it's probably one of the games that I was like,
I'm
we've
not even a
already made
Lego
it.
guy.
Let's see if we can get any more sales out of this.
Yeah. I am not a Lego guy at all, but it is kind of crazy.
Nobody
You're
want
firing
that
up
shit.
your right. You're firing up your PlayStation. You're seeing Xbox Game Studios, the first thing that pops up. Now you firing up your Xbox. You're seeing PlayStation Studios pop up. That's honestly, that's insane. But it's like it's the battle of ecosystems. Who can offer you the best?
it's about to be the
Can offer
content
you the
wars now,
content.
man. Yeah.
That literally is. It's either content wars or the ecosystem wars. Pick and choose which way you want to go with. But that's literally where this industry is going. And honestly, I'm okay with it.
Or controller wars. DualSense won me over.
Oh
They
Lord.
The only thing they
You
need
see
to fix
videos.
is
DualSense changed
the-
my life.
Yeah.
Xbox done.
Might be my next
mine is
video, man.
always going to be. Mine is always going to be like if they had the offset, different conversation. I just can't do the where the joysticks are on the PlayStation controller. I just can't do it. Platform wars. Chad's going platform wars. What happens when there's no platforms? That's the thing. Eventually, technology is going to get to that point where, and that's eventually. Who knows when that happens? But you won't need a platform.
Mhm.
And then it's going to be which oh my god, Windows storefront are you generally buying your games through?
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Decisions.
This next piece of news was music to my freaking ears. PlayStation 6 is still quote unquote years away. Sony is focused on software for years to come.
Bullshit.
Says PS5 architect Mark Cerny.
Bullshit.
Talk on it. What are you? I think it's bullshit as well. But what's your thoughts on that, BitCloud?
The CEO of the company flat out said our top priority is PS6. That's all I need to hear right there. The CEO, they're saying they're prioritizing PlayStation 6. The lead
You don't-
system architect has
You don't
no
think it can be
pull on their
prioritized and still be years away though?
No. Not. Well,
So what are you thinking?
it could be right, but I don't think so. Because and honestly, with the way things are going, it seems like it's all on track to come out the year that I'm about to say, which is 2027.
2027 was what I was going to say. I think they're on target to hit 2027.
Yeah,
I
because they
think
did show Wolverine and obviously Ghost of Yote still like in upcoming releases, so we know we're going to get those two games at least. But that's kind of that can also fit the comment that Mark said about we're focused on prioritizing content, which is the only two games that we know about.
You know, though, you're getting.
We know we're
Last
getting
of Us
Wolverine and
Complete edition for PS6 remastered.
oh god.
Sorry,
put
I just
that-
couldn't help myself. Don't put that out in the universe. Okay, I take
Don't
it
put
back.
that evil on me. Don't put that evil on me.
Yeah, I don't think it's years away. I think that the fact that the FSR or 4 from the PSSR version
Yep.
that's getting upgraded next year is just allowing them to, I guess,
Extend it.
extend
1 year.
it to 1 year, but also to allow people who aren't ready to transition to not be massively impacted because their hardware can't keep up with what the PS6 is doing.
Uh-huh.
So I definitely think that as well.
And even funny thing is too, what's the name even kind of spilled the beans on it when he left the company or after he left the company. That was Shuhei Yoshida. He even said 2027. It seems to be the more likely point for this to drop. I agree with Shuhei Yoshida 100%, 110%. I don't see this going to 2028.
I feel like there was also like an indication around like rumored that their handheld, their dedicated handheld hardware piece that they were doing was being delayed. And I feel like it was being delayed to like 2028. And so that kind of tells me like they're going to push out PS6 in 2027 and then deliver a handheld a year later.
Yep.
Yeah. Thoughts, Nero?
I don't know, man. Even if the new next gen console come, it's not really gonna move the needle for me because this cross gen is gonna be way longer than what it was this gen. So you know, I don't
Would you
know.
upgrade right away, or do you think because you purchased the Pro of the
I mean, it
PS5
really,
Pro that you
it,
want to get your money's worth out before you upgrade? What are your thoughts on that?
shit. I honestly, from the games I done beaten this year, I feel like I done damn near got my money's worth. That's because I actually play my consoles. I don't just buy them and
Mm,
have them sit around like most
Speak
people.
on it.
I
Speak
play the
on it.
fuck out of. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I go buy a pro again. I'm happy with it.
Speak
What
on
Mark
it.
what Mark Cerny promised with the pro is more consistent than what was promised with me with the Series X and
would
base
It's more of
PS5.
a
So
pipe dream. Low
yeah,
yeah,
key. Pipe dream.
yep.
Like a lot
So
of ifs and buts and like, type of scenarios. Like it can do this and a third.
well, I
And
feel like
he always talks like that too.
yeah.
I
Well, I
will
mean,
say I might be more inclined to get it because the way the PS5 Pro and Sony as well, and this is I said it before, I say it again. Sony is future proofing their games for the PS6 way better and more efficient than what Xbox is doing first party wise. What Xbox game can you unlock the frame rates in? We have the better VRR window, but we can't unlock our frames. Almost every single Sony first party game can run their games at an unlocked frame rate. So something like a what you call it, Days Gone quality mode on the PS5 Pro is 8K, 30 FPS. You can
mm,
unlock the frames that go up to about 34, 35.
I think
The
it's
PS6 is going to be able to run that at a lock 60, I'm assuming. So when you future proof it like Hogwarts Legacy, I love that all the modes have an unlocked frame rate, even the fidelity mode. That is future proofing without needing these devs to come back and put hands on anything or even do anything at the hardware level. It's just
yeah.
gonna brute
We
force through.
necessarily don't
So
know what Xbox is doing in that front. They
I'm
have
saying
to
what they're
develop.
doing right now. Right now,
Yeah,
they're not doing
yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
don't know what they're doing in the future. I can only
Well,
speak
I
for the
also think
now.
it depends on the developers. Like we look at The Witcher 3 was made Gen 9 aware.
Hmm.
And so it was able to run better on the current gen hardware because the developers made it Gen 9 aware. And I feel like that's where the developers might be making these games Gen 10 aware. We don't know at
Mhm.
this point. But I do agree about the unlocking frame rate. It is limited in scope. Only some games are doing it, and it's generally your Series X over your Series S. Yeah, who knows? Who knows what's happening? Because we don't even know specifically around what the hardware is going to be for the Xbox because we know that we're looking at potentially the PC hybrid side of things around that. So you might even just have an optimization available to you that you didn't have available to you before. But right now, I do agree with you around that future proofing. But I'm also just concerned that PlayStation is going to do what they did this gen comparatively to last gen games and charge for upgrading
That's
to
what I'm saying. They
take
can't do
advantage of
that
your
with the
PS6.
future proofing that's going on now. How are you going to
They
charge
can
me
do it. They
for
can do
upgrade
it. They
if you have
definitely
the fidelity
can.
mode? Well,
They
you're
do it.
dumb if you pay for
The
that shit because
conversation.
if you have a fidelity mode game running unlocked frames and then you get a PS6 and you now have the highest fidelity version of that game run at a lock 60 or even higher if the frames is unlocked, why the fuck am I going to pay anything? That's free
They've
improvements
made
just from buying
it
a new
depends if
hardware.
they've made the software aware of the better software available to them, or are they going to make it so the system thinks it's running on a PS5 Pro or a PS5? It really depends what they do, and we don't have enough information at this point. I hope that they do enable it so you don't have to run into anything. But
Mike,
PlayStation, Nintendo, all of them have kind of shown that they aren't necessarily looking at what's best for the gamer. They're looking at how
How
can they make more money.
how bigger they can make those pockets so they can make investments to do the
Yeah.
exact same shit again, to do the same thing over and
real
over.
quick, are you guys hearing any background noise or something from my mic? Becca asked if it was fireworks going off, so I don't.
No, I'm not
No.
hearing you.
All right, just
Mm.
making sure.
No, no. Lord Roughness, thank you for the £5. The PS5 Pro has been widely labelled a con. If a PS6 comes out too close to the Pro, that will affect sales, not before 2028 for success.
It's only been labeled a con from people that's not owning it and seeing it firsthand. Like I don't understand because if you call the Pro a scam, you got to call the X and the PS5 a scam too, and I'm gonna die on that hill. I'm gonna die on that hill. You got to
Yeah.
call the base consoles a scam. If you're gonna call the Pro a scam, then the base consoles is 1,000% a scam. Remember Aaron Greenberg, 4K 60 the standard, Redfall, Starfield.
But what
Ooh,
he's talking
Same
speak
about
on
energy.
it.
is
That's a scam. That's a scam.
he's
Let's
talking
keep that
about
same
kind of
energy.
like what we had with last gen around you've had this mid-gen upgrade around that and then you suddenly get thrown into next gen, and so did you really get your money's worth out of it? For some people they will have, for other people they won't have. I think a big shock for people was the $700 price tag, the
My
fact that
question to
you're getting
that
a
is,
pro
did you
edition
game
and
on
it
it or
doesn't
not?
automatically include the disk drive for some people. Those sort of things around that. I know you've got your money's worth out of that around there. I think we looked at last generation, the PS4 base unit and the Xbox One, specifically the Xbox One as well.
Thank you, Lord Roughness. He
They
said base
weren't great.
consoles is a scam too. See, that's all I ask people to do is keep the same energy. That's all I do.
Hmm.
If you can admit that base consoles is a scam, then hey, you got free reign to tell Nero all day long how the pro is a scam. But I just feel like you can't call the pro a scam and then sit here and say that the base Series X or base
That would be the
PS5
same for
wasn't a
last
scam.
gen. That would be the same for last gen. The base PS4, the base Xbox One. Why we had to get mid-gen refreshes is because they weren't powerful enough at the beginning of the generation to last the full length of the generation. Um, and that's going to be the same, I think, unless something drastically happens differently this next gen. We're probably going to run into the same situation, which is why I think AI is going to be a big component or proponent of longevity for that. Let's see how it goes.
Yep, Hellblade, 30 FPS for visual reasons was another scam, by the way.
Yep,
Yeah. I
Ooh.
just feel
100%.
like you can't tout Tower of Power, big
I
monster
think he,
console screaming that shit from the rooftops like I have all. I'm only speaking for myself. I screamed that shit from the rooftops for the last 4 years, and been disappointed in more than not. So I mean, I'm only
I
speaking for myself. Some people might be satisfied with what they've got.
I agree around
Yeah.
the 30 FPS for Hellblade 2. However, I also think part of that was the state of UE5 at the
Yep.
time that that game launched. The tools couldn't deliver 60 FPS like they can today, which is why you're getting a 60 FPS version for the Pro, the base PS5, and the Series X in August.
Yep.
It's August, right? That's when that game's coming out. The definitive version.
You know, and the crazy thing is too about PS6 sales being affected. I don't think it'd be affected
I don't
if it
think it
did
will
come
be.
across. Nah, because
We saw what the Switch
you
2 did, and
always right, you always have that one particular group of people that just will just be they got to have the newest thing and they'll buy it anyway. So and then the hype around it will be that, but also too keep in mind too it's the internet and this should be no surprise to you at all. The internet is full of people who are reactionary. So when they see a game running on PS6, that they just, you know what I mean? Like they'll show the right game off, they'll jump on it. Like for me with PS5, it was Demon Souls.
oh,
Demon
that
Souls
game,
being the remake. Still to this day looks like Chef's Kiss.
which
If they
is
have
why
a
I'm,
game like that, will be enough.
which is
Honestly,
why I'm so disappointed.
no Bloodborne
Um,
too.
yes, but I'm also so disappointed that Blue Point was working on a live service game.
Yep,
Why
a
weren't they
God of
working on?
War live service game at that. Make it
Don't
make
put that on.
sense.
Give Blue Point something else to do. They've shown you time and time again that
Well,
they are a fantastic studio and they can do great work.
oh yeah, and you would think after all this time, especially with them investing in Katakawa, which is the owner of Bloodborne and the Souls games, you would think with everything that was going around, plus you had what's his name, from God, was Colin Moriarty claimed that Bloodborne 2 was quote unquote happening.
Good old Colin.
We would have had it by now, but we
Hey,
didn't.
he also said that it didn't make sense that Helldivers 2 went to Xbox.
Yeah, good old Colin. Gotta love him sometimes.
Sometimes he's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord Roughness, for the $2. Remember, I started this gen happy with the Series S. I think that's a really good call out. I also think we've seen what PC's delivering. We've seen the improvement with the resolution scalers around FSR and even DLSS, and seeing what PC's delivering, and you can just feel that the fact you're locked into this hardware, if you're a console gamer, you're kind of being left behind. And I feel like that's why people are wanting that mid-gen refresh or wanting the next gen, because they want more of what PC's delivering. They just don't want to get a PC.
Yep. And that's the thing. You can't have your cake and eat it. You know what I mean? Like you gotta get there's compromises with console. PC, there's no compromises. Like you have both. You have options and ways to get both.
Well, you think about this with anything. The more you spend, the less restrictions you have, right? The less you
There you
spend, the
go.
more restrictions you have.
And
That's
console
the reality.
gamers are used to spending a lot anyway. You know, we're not
We
counting the
are
amount
that.
of controllers you go through. But no, but beforehand, like, you know, we're not counting headsets, controllers. We're not counting
Some people
subscription
bought more
prices.
controllers than games this gen.
There you go.
I seen a few.
Yep.
I know a few.
And they did it for bragging rights. You know what I mean? Trying
Bragging
to
rights.
go on Twitter like, hey, I got it. It's like, bro, you know, it'd have been great to go with that Last of Us controller, a Factions 2 game to go with that controller. And you know that, right?
Don't point that out. Don't use logic.
You know, like everything that was Xbox was getting slandered for, especially controllers. Dudes are celebrating and they're excited for it. Just think about that.
Crazy work.
So
Okay. I'm trying to
Enjoy.
remember. I'm trying to remember this next game, Where Wind Meets, confirmed PS5 console exclusive in new trailer. The deal looks like it's going to be timed exclusive for 6 months.
for
What
what now?
is this game?
Where winds meet.
Winds meet. I don't even remember what this game
Oh,
was.
it's like a Souls
Oh!
game. Yeah, it's that new. Yeah, it's like a Souls.
Yes, I remember now.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
Looks pretty good.
Okay, I remember now. All right, what is
I think we have the PS5 Pro and FSR4. Mark Cerny said it's going to be not a scaled back version, pretty much the full version, which is music to my ears because I die on this hill. The current version of PSSR is better than any upscaling technique available on base consoles. FSR 1 and 2 on base consoles have been ass and a letdown this generation. Physically as hell. Um, yeah, so that, to me, that's hey, music to my ears. Make me even more prouder of my purchase, as if I
Here's
wasn't
It's gonna be
already proud of it.
available
so
as an
here's the
upgrade
thing.
to the PSSR, which is the PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution.
Yeah, it's basically their 1.5 version of it.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Here's where he flat out lied. In order for you to get the full benefits of FSR4, PS5 Pro would have to be RDNA 4. It's not RDNA 4. It's RDNA 2.
So it's going to
But
be
he
like
did say they got aspects of RDNA 3
Yeah,
and
yeah.
4
So
in it, right?
this goes to what I was about to
AI.
say. It's kind of like what he did with PS5. It's a 1.5 approach where you have certain things, certain features of it in it, but not the full spectral of everything in it. If that makes sense. You don't have the full
gonna be the
slew into
PS5.
it. That will be PlayStation 6. PS6 will be full on FSR4, and a lot of people need to understand this too. He's paying $700 for what he calls a re-implementation. Because otherwise, he would just said, "Hey, listen, PS5 Pro would have FSR4 full completed." You know what I mean? Instead of a re-implementation. The reason why and it was even more funny about this too. You pay $700 for this re-implementation. Just think about PS6 now. For you to have the full bells and whistles, what do you think the price tag of that's going to be? Really think about it. A bigger GPU.
$800-$900. $800 or $900.
About
I can see it being 1,000.
I see
Close to
both
1,000.
consoles being at 1,000.
I just don't want it to be because I then look at the conversion rate to
Yeah,
my
just-
dollar and I'm like,
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
just buy a PC at that point. I would just buy
Yeah.
a PC at that point. when you start-
PCs are legit what you got with these consoles now. You're getting the full, RDNA 4. You're getting the FSR 4, but that's about it. Like people need to understand, like PS5 Pro, it sounds great on paper, but ultimately the results that we've gotten just don't justify the price. And arguably the best looking game on PS5 Pro only sold 2 million, and that was Snowblade. So I'm not excited, man.
2 million after the PC? Or was that
So
just
it was 2
PlayStation?
million altogether, and then with the PC release, it now is over 3 million because it sold a million in 3 days on PC.
Damn, that's right. It did sell really well. Yeah.
So it probably sold even more. We haven't even got official numbers all the way, going further. But that's the point, though. Like everybody was putting a lot of stock into this fixing everything. You gotta understand, this is all about like this console is pushing lower resolutions. It's literally it's pushing lower resolutions just to try to give you the illusion of a 4K image, and even then they still can't give you 60 locked on every single thing. I just don't see the point. I don't see the point behind it.
I'm trying to remember what he actually said when this launched, and it was it beginning of the year when he was talking about they were expecting an update to PSSR next year in 2026.
He said it like a few months back,
Yeah,
that it was going to happen.
It sounded more like it was just going to be a iterative updated version of PSSR rather than a slightly different version of the FSR.
Yeah.
4. So
basically, it was rushed. It was rushed because I do believe PS6 is coming out in 2027. I do believe they had to rush it because 2027 is the launch of PS5 or PS6.
I think it's just.
I don't know. I guess when I bought it, I just kind of had realistic expectations. I just feel like anytime you're trying a new AI upscaling technique, it's going to take multiple iterations. Like I tell people, it's a reason why it's a 4 behind FSR. It's a reason why it's a 4 behind DLS. You need those iterations. You have to learn. You have to grow. And the fact that Mark Cerny and PlayStation helped develop FSR4 real close, words from them and AMD, I have no doubt that some version of this FSR4 will be in there. Mark Cerny, it'll be interesting to see what Digital Foundry do when the update do get here, because his words, he definitely said it's not going to be a iteration of it. It's going to be straight up just equivalent to that. So I'm going to be interested to see how that plays out for sure. We shall see.
I also think it's like people aren't aware that the code, the algorithm that PSSR works with versus FSR4 is different. And so there is going to, which is essentially why exactly what you're saying, BitCloud, you're not going to get the full FSR4 version delivered on the PS5 Pro. I'm looking forward to seeing what FSR4 looks like next gen, or even FSR5, because they're still going to be iteratively improving on it. So there might even be in another year, 2 years time, a 5 version that goes to PS6 potentially. Who knows? Because they're working on this all the time together. I'm just hoping that one day we're going to get something like we are able to. It's kind of like a PC, and it's been rumored, and I know it's been rumored for Xbox, is like you can replace your components and upgrade your system as it happens, like every PC. And I'm like, I feel like that's where we're heading in the future for console gaming. It's just literally going to be PC gaming to some degree. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of glad they're upgrading it, but I'm also kind of sad about the people who bought the PS5 Pro
off the pipe dream
day one.
Yeah, on the pipe dream.
Yeah, bought it day one, and then were delivered and we've talked about this, Nero, that and I agree that they're delivering a better version of a better
it's not even close. That's what I'm saying. The current, and I don't know. That's why I just be a little confused.
Yeah, it's better than FSR2
I can only
and
speak from what
FSR3.
I've seen.
Yep.
But the sad thing is that you bought a piece of hardware in which they gave you like a preview version and charged you full price, and then the full launch version is launching like a year, 2 years later.
My only thing to that is it's still better than anything I've experienced upscaling wise prior to the Pro coming out console wise. So.
Yep.
But by the time it comes out, your console's 2 years old.
Right. This is going to be a sneak. All PS5 Pro is a sneak peek into what PS6 would be doing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's all
what
it
I
is.
took from it.
That's
exactly what it is.
And the way these games be blurry, can't nobody tell me that shit wasn't needed. Whether it's Final Fantasy 16, Rebirth, all you gotta do is look at these base consoles. That's why I say, even what PSSR being, y'all can call it a scam or whatever people want to call it. Like I said, it's still miles better than what was there.
The crazy thing is, though, if PS6 does drop and we still have the same problem that we had on base consoles with PS6. With images not being as clean, you know what I'm saying, clean and everything. That's going to be the interesting thing. But we shall see. We shall.
And I always tell people who use that to knock the Pro. Look, man, it's 80 Pro enhanced games, and you can only count on one hand the bad ports. I mean, the bad implementations of it. And I mean, you drop 80 games and 75 of them is bangers, then I'm not gonna harp on the 5 that was quote unquote let down. And I care about the 5 that was step backs, whether it's Jedi Survivor, which is
Yep.
notoriously horrible everywhere. Silent Hill 2 is my most frustrated one, and in my review I mentioned it. I pointed it out. I don't understand why how you can make that worse. But
I think the
when you
hard
get
thing
over
is,
3, 4, 5 bad PSSR implementations, man, the ones that shine really fucking shine when you
but
compare them
what
to the
sells
rest.
when you look at engagement? What sells? Focus on the 5 negative rather than the 75 positive. That's what sells
Mm.
when it comes to people clicking and engagement farming
Yeah,
and those sort of
Yep.
things.
it's not
That's
for
what
me
they're
as a
doing.
consumer. I
Yeah,
gotta
but
be honest about my
you've already got the
purchases.
product, so you've already been sold on it. For people who are looking at it outside of that, and then people looking at this going, oh, so I should probably get a PS5 Pro next year once they release this option. But then why do I need to get a PS5 Pro when I could potentially get a PS6? So it kind of there's going to be running into that side of things for the consumer. They will be having those conversations internally. But for those who've already picked it up, it's not going to change anything for them. Yeah. Surveyor was fire. Jedi Survivor?
Yep. Jedi Survivor's good.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, yeah.
great game, love it.
I
Even
mean,
with
that
all the
definitely needed
problems.
it. That definitely needed
Both
it.
those games got snubbed. I'm honest, man. They both were great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
I
Lord
agree.
any
Ruffus,
other?
that is exactly what Nero said around the PS5 Pro is what the base PS5 should have been.
Yep. You guys got any other things you going to talk about? Because I got to dip.
Oh, it was just about the layoffs.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So if you wanted to give your thoughts on the
Yeah.
layoffs,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure. It's never a good thing to say goodbye to devs, especially when you're hearing this due to AI. That already doesn't that doesn't really build good faith for me going
Nope.
forward. You're losing more of the human connection, and then you're gonna have games that feel like they're off a conveyor belt. They're just
Yep.
thrown together, and there's no creative drive or to the process. So I don't like that at all. I will say to the devs though, when one door closes, another opens. I do feel for them. And what kills me though is when you saw people use that as fanboy wars to try to push an agenda. I feel like
Yep.
that's sick to do because that could be anybody, even in
Someone
this call.
someone changed their name to something 9,000 employee layoff something that to console where I'm like, why,
Why?
why,
You
why?
see, people don't believe in karma. That type of shit can always come back. And eventually you will get your karma. And people like that, making fun of others, like losing their jobs. Like,
That
for
person's
example,
coming back as a dung beetle in their next life.
right, no, because a good example of this, I don't know if y'all remember that chick from G4, Frosk. Remember how she was infamous? She basically killed the entire network, Frost Curran or whatever her name was. So I survived the layoff, guys. They're literally within like 30 minutes. Oh, I got fired too. It's like, dog. Dude, this is not something that you want to have, put as some dub. And keep in mind too, they made fun of it for Xbox, but when PlayStation suffered the same type of layoffs last year and the year prior, oh, it's all we wish you the, what I mean? It's weird energy. I think people need to relax and just pay attention to the industry as a whole. The industry as a whole is unsustaining itself because games are way too expensive. Games are not selling the way they should. And also, gamers as a whole are not inclined to buy games much
Yeah.
because there's no incentive for a lot of them. And when you have more hardware than software, it just adds even more icing to the cake on why the issues are apparent.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
telling
we've
people
had
you got to pay $700 for entry level console to potentially keyword potentially get 60. That doesn't build good faith for people.
yeah.
People rather go to PC.
Yep.
That's it. So that's my take on it.
Well, Perfect Dark's been cancelled. The initiative's closed. Everwild cancelled. We know that. Oh my god, Turn 10 Studios has basically lost 50% of their
Yep.
workforce, and they are now just really
Ridiculous.
looking after the Forza tech engine and supporting Horizon.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Banjo Kazooie director left
Yep.
Rare after 35 plus years. King and ZeniMax hit with layoffs. Call of Duty Studios Raven and Sledgehammer hit with layoffs. Now, this is a layoffs not just Xbox wide; it is Microsoft wide as well, because they are their whole focus is as a company is AI focused, and there's a lot of things that they're wanting to do in the gaming development space with AI as well. Yeah, 50% of Xbox user research team laid off. So up to 9,000 employees at Microsoft parent company could be laid off. So it's everyone, and there's been a big hit to Xbox specifically. Yeah, it's shocking. Nero, I'm going to throw to you because I need to quickly go put a cat outside. So 1 moment.
Look, man, we got to stop blaming everything on the Xbox tax, man. Microsoft they be setting themselves up as the fucking villains with some of these moves, man. I'm not gonna harp on the layoffs. I get it, shit happens. I pray they land on their feet. I'm more pissed off about a lot of these cancellations. I don't understand how a lot of these guys are just okay and content with getting less games that we was just shown last year at the showcase with Perfect Dark. We literally just seen some shit of that. So, um. It's frustrating, especially with them saying, they trying to lean towards AI. Forza Motorsport seems to be on ice. It's ridiculous. I love Forza Motorsport. One of my favorite games from Xbox this generation. I think it was a great game. I think it had its flaws, like most games tend to have, but I don't think it was nearly deserving of a lot of the hate that it received. But a lot of this was just disappointing, man. Um,
Yep.
It's no way to justify it. I'm tired of every time we get some negative news. Why when all of this stuff happened with Xbox, why y'all bring up PlayStation? Like not just you, Lord Roughness, but as a whole. Y'all niggas not playing on PlayStation. Why are y'all bringing up PlayStation to justify these? Don't bring up PlayStation cancellations. Y'all don't even play over there. Let's focus on what we got in our own backyard getting canceled, laid off, shut down, wasted money. Because in my opinion, the initiative and the Perfect Dark being wasted is just as big of a flop as Concord. Only difference is Concord came out. That's the only difference in my eyes, personally. It's probably not on the same money wise. I don't know how much they dumped in the Perfect Dark or the initiative, but this is a lot of wasted money as well. So if we're gonna point and laugh at Concord, we need to look in our own backyard and say, "Yo, something need to change on management." Personally, I don't understand how you can let a studio work on the game for so long with nothing to show for it. It's damn near like they scammed Xbox, us, and Microsoft. But it's like, where's the hands on this? Where are you guys at to step in? Where is Matt Booty? Where some of these guys need to go. Just my humble opinion. Some of these guys need to go. If next generation Xbox launch next year, I said it before, I say it again. This is the most disappointing Xbox generation for me personally. Arguably more disappointing than the Xbox One. At least on the Xbox One, I got a Halo mainline game too. Actually, at
Yep.
least I got a Gears mainline game too. Actually, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, geez, what the fuck is going on here? I'm so tired of every time we as Xbox people or even PlayStation people, when it's time to call out the brand we love the most, we always look to the other side of the street. That shit is so fucking stupid. If you mainly only came and care about Xbox, why the fuck is you bringing up what PlayStation is doing to justify the bullshit that's going on under our own roof? That's that dumbass fanboy logic that I can't stand and won't support. It's dumb. I don't give a fuck what PlayStation got going on. I'm focusing on Xbox right here. Just like when I'm giving PlayStation the work, which I've done for the last how many episodes we're on Panda? 50 plus episodes of me laying the hammer into the motherfuckers. So it's like it's just frustrating, man. It's inexcusable. It's mismanagement. Amy Hood is responsible for a lot of this shit too, and more stuff is gonna continue to come out. It's ridiculous. I have no words for a lot of the things that said, and we can scream Xbox tax, media bias, when you lay off 15K people in the last fucking year, all right, you're gonna get labeled as a villain, no matter how big your company is. You're gonna get labeled as a villain. All right. So the Xbox tax shit for me personally, that shit is starting to become a moot point.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, layoffs happen everywhere, but guess what? On this show, every time a layoff happen, you think I want to come? I love
I
Ben
think
Studio.
the
I love
Xbox
Days Gone. I'll
tax
come
though
over here
is
and speak on it. You know what I'm saying?
Microsoft and Xbox is heavily scrutinized with a microscope compared to other
Yeah, I
developers
agree.
that are doing the layoffs,
Yeah, I'm
and
reading news
so
about
that's the
Julian
conversation
McMahon. I
point
didn't even
there.
know. Damn, bruh. Crazy.
Um, I'm gutted by this,
Damn.
and I also think because Microsoft's focus on
R.I.P. man. R.I.P.
because of their focus on AI as an initiative, where they're seeing layoffs everywhere, and it's just sad to see that the Xbox side of things, especially the studios have been hit so hard. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Have you got to go, Black
This
Cloud?
here. Wow.
Do you,
Yeah,
do you
on,
need to
on
head
that
off?
note, though, I got to dip. But thank you guys for having me. It's fun.
Thank you so
Man, we
much for being
appreciate you,
here.
man. It was a pleasure meeting you, bro. Talking to you.
You
Wish
too,
I could
man.
have been on camera face to face, man. But like I said, under the weather today.
You rest up. It's all
Yes,
good.
sir. I
Yeah.
appreciate it, man. Great,
Thank you
great pod, bro.
for being here.
Oh, yeah.
You head
Anytime, man.
off.
Thanks for having me.
It's been
Amazing.
And
fantastic.
to the chat, shout out to y'all. I think Panda's muted. Sound that you shot time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're muted. Maybe tap your mic.
I can hear you.
She can hear me.
He can't hear me. You can hear me, Nero, though.
I
Yeah,
can't
I
hear
can
me.
hear you.
All
Y'all
right.
hear Panda chat?
No, I can't hear her.
Hopefully, he can't hear me. Oh, I can see my mic going. That's weird.
Can't hear her. Y'all hear her?
Can y'all hear Panda in the chat, y'all? Because I can hear her.
All right, let's find out.
You do?
Becca's saying yes.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
okay,
I
you say you
am.
can hear her and then.
They say they can hear me. Yeah. Just you
That's weird.
can't.
Okay, I can hear her on the show, but I can't hear her in this. Oh, that's why I hit that. Maybe that. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's me. I left clicked the damn speaker. I didn't see it. Never mind.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you so much for being here. You've been fantastic as a guest on the show, But Cloud. It's been awesome having you on.
That was fun. Thanks for having me.
You head off. We're gonna finish up on. I feel like we've got maybe one more thing that we want to talk about, but I don't want to hold you hostage. So head off. Have a great rest of your night and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
All right. That'll be good. Later, guys.
Bye. All right, I'll move us over to the 2 panel.
Yeah, no, lower roughness. I understand completely what you're saying, and I agree. Xbox do get they do get a lot of hate from the media and shit. All I'm saying is sometimes the shit is deserved. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying every time they get a bunch of hate and shit like that. You guys know I don't believe in even, a lot of my games I love from Xbox is unfairly judged. Starfield is one of them. All I'm saying is sometimes these motherfuckers deserve the heat. Sometimes. Like, I'm not saying all the time. And I think honestly this is one of the times where they deserve the heat. Just like when Insomniac laid off people, why the fuck is you laying off people when they are your workhorses?
I think I'm going to sound really sad about this because I feel like everyone who's going through restructures, regardless of what industry you're in, it's coming up from down high and then being forced to have to do it, which is sad. Like Perfect Dark being cancelled, scale-bound gut punch for me situation. The fact that the initiative is closing and they were using, what was it, Crystal Dynamics, were helping as a contracted studio to deliver on that. We saw the potential of this game and I was hoping we were going to see it next year. And it would have just been that sort of chef's kiss, like the cherry on top, sort of around the amount of games that are going to be launching next year. It's just really sad because we love Joanna Dark, and I wanted to see Joanna Dark continue on and have another chapter in her story. So it's just disappointing that we're not going to get that, and it's a bit of an FU because gamers really were looking forward to this, and if they thought it wasn't going to make money, or they just wasn't worth it in the end, like they had to kind of trim fat or whatever they had to do, I feel like this wasn't the game to do it with.
I agree.
We also know that I know there was rumblings of issues with what was happening at the initiative, but so there's maybe more to the story than we know, but it's just disappointing.
And I feel like you got so many studios, you could have just tried to pass it on to somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
I understand Everwild though. Like that game's been in development for what, 8, 10, some ridiculous amount of years, and they have been reworking it, and it hasn't come to fruition, and it probably was a money pit, and they weren't gonna be able to get a ROI, so return on investment for that. Potentially, I am disappointed around Everwild though because I thought that game just. The art style just beautiful, looked stunning, and I really wanted to see another game that Rare could deliver on that wasn't Sea of Thieves, that wasn't Banjo-Kazooie or something like that. Yeah, Turn 10 though. That's a tough one to swallow. Yeah. That one's once I heard that I was like, are you kidding me? I understand that they're keeping them on for the tech, like Forza engine.
Mhm.
But it's disappointing. I know that the Forza Motorsports game didn't deliver in line with what they were hoping it would deliver, but also I feel like it was pushed out slightly too early. It should have been delayed another 6 months for further polish. And it probably would have had a better outing that way.
I just
Yeah.
can't help to feel that the Microsoft and it's starting to become a thing where I love Xbox brand, but I hate Microsoft
Yeah, I
because it's
get you
starting
on
to feel
that
like
one.
they are self fucking sabotaging the brand. I don't know if it's Amy Hood, Satya Nadella, and it's getting to a point where I will no longer be championing these accusations until you show me that you can manage what you have now
Yeah.
and consistently put out games, right? Because this entire generation, every game that has came 9 times out of 10 came later than when it was promised to come in the first place. Now I understand COVID, right? I understand. I understand
Everyone in
that
the industry
everyone
has.
is dealing with it, right? I'm just speaking for Xbox specifically. Whether it's
Mm,
Starfield, Avowed, Redfall, everything came out later than when it was initially supposed to come out. You have a lot of studios, you have a lot of talent. When you buy these studios, you're buying these studios because of the talented people that's there. Then you lay off half of the people that you just got. What the fuck is the point? I would no longer champion these people going out, picking and buying up these IPs, studios, developers, just to turn around and let them go. Now I get
yeah.
that happens all the time. I get it happens. I know how business work. That don't mean I have to agree with the shit. I just quite frankly don't agree with a lot
Mm,
of the moves that was made. I love Turn 10. I think GT7 needs competition. Period.
yes.
Gran Turismo
Do you
needs
think this means
competition.
GT7 or GT then goes multiplayer and goes to Xbox as a result? That we don't have a mainline simulator game anymore.
It's a possibility. Never say never.
I mean, they should if they want to make their money back. They should.
And then
Um,
I get putting, all your eggs in the Forza Horizon because it's the more popular, successful IP. But it's like for me personally,
roughness there.
all it takes is one mishap, right? What if Forza Horizon 5 come out? I mean 6 come out rough state, or we know it's not gonna happen. I trust Playground Games personally. I
So
think Mark,
yeah.
I personally trust Playground Games, whether it's Fable, whether it's Horizon. But I'm just saying, all it takes is one mishap. So my thing is, if it only take, because you got to walk with me. Gran Turismo had a bunch of fucking bad releases. Even you can argue GT7 was a rough release, especially for fans. The media glazed it, but the
Mm.
users did not like a lot of the shit that was going on.
Well, the
So
fact that the reviews came out before they introduced all the
yeah,
microtransactions.
exactly. That too. That's some scummy shit. So my thing is, if it only takes one mistake to be the end of a studio, it's like, man, I don't. That's tough because I like I said, Forza Motorsport and Turn 10 track record is way more better than what it is bad. And even with people critiquing and criticizing Forza Motorsport, it was still a really fucking good game. It reviewed well. What was it? An 86 Metacritic,
Yeah,
87, something
the
like that.
the what they did with the Forza engine, like to bring take advantage of current gen systems and
I
such.
agree, Lord Roughness.
Yeah, I agree around that too, Lord Roughness, 100%. That's why I put the comment up. I was like, fucking agree with this, and I know Nero will. Yeah.
I'll take Perfect Dark over half of the shit we got in this generation.
I
Not all of it,
do
but some of it.
I do appreciate the severance packages and the fact that they're prioritizing these people applying for jobs internally over external hires. And
I
I
like
say
that too.
I like that. So
I
with the
wish
bad,
people would highlight that a little more. I
yeah,
think that's worth highlighting.
yeah, I feel like I definitely wanted to highlight that. Um, I feel like for some people, because of the news that came out with Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox, has seen that as a little bit of like a silver lining, and so it's kind of been a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel of all this darkness out of all this news that has come about.
I'm not gonna lie, Panda. I folded like a lawn chair. I went to sleep pissed on Wednesday, woke up Thursday, watched the Helldiver live stream, and was fucking psyched. I was so fucking happy,
Well,
yo.
yeah, it's not what we're used to, and I was talking to you about this before the show. It's like we're used to hear like really good Xbox showcase or really good Xbox news, and then 5 seconds later, steps on a rake.
Yep.
Whereas
Now I was
they've stepped on their
reversed.
rake, and now they've
Mhm.
recovered with Helldivers 2 because it's a good it's a game that we're excited for. I'm excited for it, and I even said that I wanted to play this game. kind of happy.
And I probably
Xbox, and I
will
didn't
be.
want to play it
I
on
wish I
PC.
can gift. I wish I can't gift Panda games because the region differences. But I'll go on vacation. I think either the second or third week of August. But after I come back, I definitely want to do a giveaway on the channel for Helldivers 2. I'll probably just I don't know, probably do something silly like the funniest comment this episode. I gift it on Xbox. I probably won't drop a code. I'm gonna just gift it from a friend, add you on Xbox and give it away because I love this game. I'm not gonna buy it twice, but I would buy it twice. But I'm not buying it twice for me. But I definitely would buy it for a supporter of the podcast. So definitely stick around towards later in August if you want a chance to try to get that for sure.
We know State of Decay 3 safe from Undead Labs.
They did say it was a few layoffs there though, right?
But yeah, I think they were just trimming stuff in that side of things. But I feel like overall, we're still getting your State of Decay 3
Yeah.
as a whole. All the titles that were shown during the Xbox showcase are safe. But I do think it does really hit, and what we're talking about earlier in the show is people's trust in getting hyped about a game for the potential it could just be taken away from them. It's really hard at the moment to go, I'm really excited about this game, and because you don't know if it's actually going to make it to a release anymore. And so they really need to stop showing games too far out because it's getting to the point where it's a bit of a joke. At the moment, the industry is definitely hitting a crash. Like they can't. They're wanting profits. They're trying to make money, and we mean nothing, which is why this is happening. We don't really mean anything other than we're just a voice in our community around that. We're just a number or a statistic. You subscribe, you're just a number. You pay some dollars on a game, you're just a sales figure. You're nothing more than that when people are looking at it in this, like in your stats that you're looking at. That's all it is. And the graphs they're looking at, they don't see the actual individual impact it has on the consumer until they feel it in their wallets. And they're going to start feeling it, I think. I feel like the whole industry is feeling it as a whole in their wallets. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I just can't. I can't get excited for Xbox games going forward until the motherfuckers touch my fingertips, man. Because it's been a generation full of delays, full of cancellations, and I'm just speaking for Xbox. Apparently, every time I speak for Xbox, everybody want to bring up PlayStation. Stop bringing them up. When I get on PlayStation, I get on them. Let's focus on one brand
PlayStation
at a
has
time.
more layoffs than Xbox.
Yeah, to me that is so fucking stupid. Justifying our hardships by what the hardships of a platform 90% of you motherfuckers don't care about. Let's be honest. I just don't get that. Let's focus on, because when we focus on home, we can focus on trying to get better from home. We're not gonna get better from Xbox by saying, well, yeah, we laid off people, but hey, Sony, like, fuck them. Half of the people in the comments saying that don't even like, come on, man.
But you can't just go Sony laid off because Ubisoft was hit hard with layoffs. EA's been hit hard with layoffs.
Yeah.
WB Games, they're hitting layoffs too. Everyone's hitting layoffs. Embracer Group, layoffs. You know? It's happening. And it just looks really bad when you see 9,000 at a time when I feel like there were like, 6,000 the year before and then like 10,000, something ridiculous the year before that. I also think part of the contributing factor here for some of it is, especially for what's hitting King and ZeniMax and even Call of Duty stuff, is now the FTC has kind of completely put that to bed. They can now make roles redundant that they couldn't make redundant before in case they had to separate things out if it didn't go through. So I feel like that is also included in these layoffs. And they aren't final. Like, there will be more layoffs within the industry, which is just sad and disappointing because we have so much love for what we do for gaming. Some of the developers,
you got Jazz Gordon on
the best experience.
Is that his name? What's his last name? Jazz Gordon. You got Jazz from Windows Central's pretty much saying this isn't the end of it. Like, he's as if he got some behind the scenes. Like I said, with him, you gotta take everything with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Because he the same one that I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to burn no bridges. I'm I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself. But a lot of these media guys, they go around and try to make situations either better than what they really are in reality,
Mm.
or either make shit worse than what it really are in reality. So everything
I
these
mean,
guys and people say, man, you have to really take with a grain of
well,
salt.
after these announcements and all this stuff, was this when Laura Fryer, who was a
This is
original founding
before.
member, this was
This is
before
before.
the because she knew the layoffs were coming, right?
Yep.
Like rumored that the layoffs were coming, but she also indicated, based off what was said with the Sarah Bond and AMD stuff, I also think it's interesting how she's like Xbox hardware is dead when they've clearly said they're making another device. I do understand what she's saying around the value of what was offered is being eroded away, but I feel like that is an industry thing as a whole anyway. Um, Xbox has no idea, no desire, or literally can't ship hardware anymore. I also feel like that's not wrong either. I feel like that's a fair statement, and it might not be that the no desire, but it's just are the consumers willing to spend money on the hardware? And I feel like they might be willing to ship hardware, but at the end of the day, the consumers aren't necessarily buying it. And why are they not buying it? What's the root cause of that issue? Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add before we close
I
up?
I didn't really have too much to say about her. I watched the entire video, and I think she made some really good points.
But she
But
also
it's
had clear
just
bias, man.
yeah, definitely. I didn't really care too much for what she had to say. I can't take the leaving hardware shit serious when we got confirmed hardware coming. I just don't care. Like people say, oh, PS6 is gonna end, be the last, the next Xbox. Yeah, well, you guys said this was gonna be the last generation. Like I don't care as long as they keep confirming that next gen hardware is coming every generation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be happy and I'm gonna be there to support it. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
invested in these ecosystems.
Mm.
Not gonna abandon them. I'm not gonna run away from thousands of dollars invested in games over my lifetime on PlayStation or Xbox.
Mm.
That's just silly to me. But to each their own. If you wanna
Yeah.
run away because a game or two go to a platform you've been shitting on your entire life, then hey, I mean that's I
Mm.
guess so be it.
All right. Well, I don't. Did you want to talk about the Bandai Namco showcase? Because I haven't seen it. And
Nah, because I'm gonna be honest. It was kind of ass.
it's mid.
A
It was less
little
than
bit.
mid.
Yeah, it was kind of
It
mid.
was
It was
single A.
kind of mid.
Okay. Well, I feel like we're probably just waiting for the next big showcase. I mean, it's hard to kind of get excited about gaming and such after this week
Yeah.
has just been the week it has been.
Hey,
But
the Helldiver though, boys.
I mean,
Some good
that is
news.
that
Yeah.
is. I mean, for one community, that is fantastic news. For the
Yeah.
other community, it is don't take my games.
My
Um.
precious games that I didn't support or buy
Yes, 100%.
or play or
Um.
highlight or review.
Yeah, I'm
Nothing
definitely
at
going to
all.
be playing this. Do they have cross-gen support?
They got cross gen play. Yeah, we can play with each other, but as
Oh, that's
far
what I
as
mean, like support for playing
okay,
with each other.
okay,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
they don't got cross progression, which is that's why I say I'm
Let's
not
have to
buying it
jump in
twice.
Discord and like play Helldivers too. Then.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Okay.
It's gonna
Well,
be some really funny moments. I'm telling you now.
I just want to say this has been a fantastic show, and shout out to the over 470 people watching us live. Um, for those watching on YouTube, for those watching on Twitch, and for those watching on Twitter, thank you all so much. It's been a fantastic show with a
Definitely.
fantastic guest. BitCloud was amazing, and I'm so glad he was able to do the show with us this week. What do you think of the altars? I haven't touched it yet. I'll be real honest. I haven't touched it yet, Lord Roughness.
I bought it, played a bit of it, haven't locked into it too much, but it is a freaking great game, man. It reminds me like I think you said it in the Discord, Lord Roughness. It's like a really high end mobile strategy based game, base building game. You know, kind of like a Fallout Shelter, but with such a unique, dope twist on it. I love it. I highly recommend everyone check it out, for sure. But you know, even with Game Pass, so many games at our fingertips. You know, you might not get around to checking it out, and that's perfectly okay, man. It's a thing called backlog.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. Well, thank you, the Sly Crow. Thank you, Irish fan. Do you know what? Just thank you to everyone who was in the chat. Galveston, Web Dave, Umbra, Pete. Fuck you, because I can. But yeah, it's been a really good show. Thank you, Nero, for being here, even though you were under the weather. I really appreciate you as a co-host. So.
Always. Hey, nah, y'all, we ain't getting out of here. Everybody live right now. Put happy birthday to Panda, man. We won't be here next weekend, guys. It is Panda's
Yeah.
birthday weekend, and honestly, I think whenever we got a birthday weekend, we deserve to take the show off. Humbly, I
Yeah.
think so. I think we deserve a break here and there.
Yeah.
Being unbiased. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get this unbiasedness anywhere else. You know.
Yeah. Birthday weekend with my twin. We're doing a whole day just us, and then we're hanging out with other people another day. But I'm taking a 4-day weekend, so I'm excited. Yeah, super excited. Happy 40th birthday, Panda. You know what? Fuck you. I am not
He's
that
a
old.
menace. He is a menace.
I
Also,
am
oh
not
yeah.
that
Also,
old.
happy birthday to Reese as well, man. Great supporter of the show.
Happy
Um,
birthday, Reese.
yeah, man. If anybody else got birthdays coming up next weekend or soon and we miss, man, happy belated birthdays, guys.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who super chatted. Thank you to gifting a membership. Fuck you. Just thank you to everyone who's been with us today. It's been a great show. We appreciate all of you. And as always, where can everyone avoid you? The next gen villain.
Twitter, Blue Sky, all platforms. NextGenNero, man. Hey, y'all better enjoy me while I'm on Twitter, man, because I'm on the way out. That app is so freaking trash, yo.
It's toxic AF.
It is toxic. It is trash. It is as much as I try to separate myself from the what you call it, console warring. It's just that's all I see in my feed, man. I love opening my feed and seeing gamers play games, man, but I don't see that too much, man. And it's getting to a point where it's like, I'd rather be elsewhere.
I mean, I agree with you. It's really hard when you're looking at a conversation and you can clearly see that they aren't willing to actually open their minds up and look at what's actually happening. They're so focused on console warring, and I'm like, go outside and touch some grass.
Panda, one last thing. We don't have to talk about it. I just want to throw this out there. You have these devs on Twitter saying Game Pass is unsustainable. And to me, it's just cringe because some of these devs have put their games in Game Pass. So, was it unsustainable when you took that check? Yes or no? All I want to know, was it unsustainable when you took that check? Yes or
Are
no?
you
That's
implying
all I'm
something
going to say.
about their integrity? Yes.
Ridiculous, man.
I logged
Ridiculous.
in only to share this show. Oh, thank you, Lord Roughness. I
Love you,
agree.
bro. We appreciate it, man.
I agree. Actually, we need to get better at sharing the show out on Blue Sky because I prefer Blue Sky.
Yeah, I know, right? I always forget about that.
I forget. But I mean, I saw this. I had a read through, and I was like, I mean, I understand what they're talking about, how it's going to irrefutably impact the industry as a whole, because you can't have two business models the way that they're running at the moment, the way it is, because you're actually seeing it like fighting each other and the conflicting ideas around that. One's going to win out, one's not going to win out. I don't think they're right about the sustainability aspect of it, because if you get a consistent amount of people buying it, like buying a subscription service like that, they're not necessarily paying, like, not necessarily playing all the games, but you're able to have that consistent income come through over a long period of time, because a lot of people just buy a subscription and then they won't cancel if they're not getting it out until they really don't get any benefit or value out of it. Some people will just sit in a subscription service and just pay month to month to month to month, and that's what they want. They want that passive income coming through. And then you've got people who, that's where you've got the buy your game or buy this additional thing to get your games early access and those sort of things. I think it's sustainable. I feel like it would be more sustainable if they could kind of, that dam breaks and they just get that massive influx of subscribers. It's going to happen eventually, but will they wait it out is the conversation, I guess.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Nero?
I mean, I don't know, man. I just think as a consumer, I don't give a damn what they think is sustainable or not. I know it's sustainable for me saving money at the moment. So I don't understand why everybody running around, oh, it's not sustainable. I mean, let them deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Let Microsoft deal with that. They got money to keep bundling in there. And, I will say I think a price hike is coming soon. I personally have a cutoff. 25, man, 25 might be my max. You know what I'm saying? Anything above that monthly, I'm out of there. Like I said, I just dropped tiers on PS Plus. I only got that because I love Helldivers and taking a break from Game Pass to focus on my own games library. So I mean,
Yeah.
you just got to do what's best for you as a consumer, man. It's really that simple. You know, it's just I think they might. I think when you hit a certain price point, it becomes because, like I said, when it was $15 a month, it can leave my account without me thinking. Like even if I can have a month where I don't touch my Xbox, but when it's $15, I mean, it is what it is. But when you start getting to that $25 a month, then it becomes, well, yeah, if I'm not using this service, I'm gonna take a break from it. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's nothing wrong with taking a break, guys.
100%.
That's it. Just it don't matter if it's PS Plus, Netflix, Game Pass. Do what's best for you as consumers. And a lot of people don't do that. They do what's best for them as fucking console warriors. You know what I'm saying? Or console elitists or whatever you want to label them. No, do what's best for you as a consumer. Because the moment you do that, the moment these things don't affect you as much. Like, I'm pissed about $80 games. Hell yeah, I'm pissed about it. But am I gonna go buy $80 games? 9 times out of 10, definitely not. If it's something like a GTA, yeah, I'll pick it up. But outside of that, I just don't see the need for it when everything go on sale within a couple of weeks anyway. I just want everybody to just do what's best for you as consumers, man. Don't have too much love to these consoles or to these companies because I fell victim to that. You know what I'm saying? I champion on certain things they do, and then you get burnt. You get burnt when you just make it seem like PlayStation can do no wrong. The moment they do wrong, guess what? You get burnt. Look at all these PlayStation guys on Twitter, and I hope I didn't look like that because I know I was spiraling like hell when the games first started going to PlayStation. I was upset, but
I know you were.
I said it earlier,
I was trying to be like, I can be upset, but like I'm also like, at the end of the fucking day, it doesn't really matter.
it really doesn't matter. I swear it doesn't matter. But I will say this. I said it earlier, Panda, right? Xbox people have more of a reason to be mad about our games leaving because Xbox isn't trying to keep games off of PlayStation.
Yeah.
PlayStation is doing that. So PlayStation giving a game to Xbox, them motherfuckers over there shouldn't get mad. It's not like Xbox is trying to kill PlayStation. So what are you guys mad about? Now, Xbox people, I have a reason. I had to go buy a PS5 for Silent Hill 2. So yes, I'm pissed that you are giving them dudes Gears and Forza. I feel like that's more justified on the Xbox side to be frustrated and mad about games leaving than it is on PlayStation. Because we can't act like a lot of these games, whether it's Rise of Ronin, Stellar Blade, it's so many of them, bro. It's too many to name. We just mentioned it earlier. What was it? It's too many to name. You know what I'm saying?
Gamers like myself, and I game on Switch 1. I haven't bought a Switch 2, and I game on PC. But why I get so annoyed at PlayStation with the money heading that they do on third party developers or third party games, that always irks me to no end. There's no need for it.
Yep.
There's no need for it. I get it around your exclusives. 100% to get around your exclusives. That's what your bread and butter. That's kind of how you've set up your platform, and that's what you've sold your consumers on. But the games that don't need to be exclusive, you're still locking down, and it just pisses me off.
Yep.
It's not needed. All right, we are going to head out. Thank you, everybody. We are off next week, so we'll be back the week after with a show. But yeah, I'm taking a nice 4-day long weekend to celebrate mine and my twin's birthday.
And she deserved it. Best host in the world, man.
I mean, if I wasn't sharing my birthday with someone else, I might have done a show next week, but I share my birthday with my best friend.
Nah, I still would have told you to take it off. Just
take it off.
You deserve a break, man.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night or day, wherever you're watching from. For those who are watching after the fact, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Shout
out to the one Twitch viewer. I appreciate you.
yeah, man. 100%. We're going to head out. We're going to put the outro on. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody.